The Sacramento Republic FC and the USL request that you refrain from tossing any objects onto the field.
If a game ball enters your seating area, please return to the nearest ball retriever or to the field of play.
Any spectator entering the field or interrupting play in any manner shall be ejected and subject to arrest.
The Sacramento Republic FC and the USL thank you for your cooperation.
Hey fans, on behalf of Sacramento Republic FC and the entire organization, we hope you enjoy the match.
For the second straight year, an English Premier League club has come to Sacramento. Only this time, the capital city would put one of its own quads right there in the match. West Bromwich Albion struggled last season, barely escaping demotion in the EPL. They began their journey to prove that they belong with the top teams in the United Kingdom. Here tonight, they'll do it against the Sacramento Republic. Good evening, everybody. Rob McAllister, Kevin Goldthwait, with you once again here tonight. A beautiful evening in Sacramento, and we have a great match ahead of us. West Brom in town, an EPL match. I know so many have watched the EPL growing up, especially here in the States, and exciting for them to be able to have them right in their backyard here in Sacramento. I know for Kevin, for you, big fan of the EPL. It's a team you watch pretty regularly on the weekends.
Yeah, this is one of those Saturday, Sunday morning games. You wake up, throw the TV on when you're making your eggs and bacon, and the Baggies are playing in the background. So it's going to be exciting. I think they're fielding a pretty strong team today. Got some of their academy players coming through. We'll see get some minutes tonight as well. So it's just going to be an exciting match to see how the Republic can match up against a team that is playing in one of the best leagues in the world, which is the EPL.
And we've seen from Sacramento in the first two friendlies, really the reserves, you'd say, not the first 11. Well, tonight, different story. Full squad, pretty much back to full health as well. They're out there ready to go tonight. This should be a very exciting match. Now, we saw just a few nights ago against the Rangers from Scotland, a little helter-skelter a little bit throughout the match. Tonight, what are you expecting from these two squads?
You know, we got a couple new additions to the lineup today. We got a couple injuries on the Republic side, so there's going to be an interesting mix of how new players once again come in and fill in. We got a fun little matchup or pairing in the middle with Guzman and Mirkovic, who I think are finally – Guzman's hitting his stride, I think, in my opinion, and Mirkovic solid as ever getting in there. Most likely we'll see a caution tonight, which he typically does, which is, you know, part of his game. So there's some fun matchups tonight on the Republic's end where I really think that some guys can really kind of put their foot on their position in the lineup and in the team, which is just a great opportunity once again for the players here for Republic.
Well, a couple of nights ago, and I don't even know if it was 48 hours ago quite yet, it was here against the Rangers where Sacramento took the early lead. We're up 1-0. And going into the half, well, the second half was a completely different story. The boys from Glasgow came in. They played sharper. They played more aggressive. They ended up winning 2-1. And it looked like it was going to the draw. We had some extra time, about the 91st minute mark, if you're counting around there, in extra, you know, the stoppage. And right there, a goal, losing that concentration. And talking to Dominic Djokovic, he said, we were there, we would lose concentration in these spells, and it kills us every single time. And I think if you look back to a lot of the Republic's matches throughout the season, it's really been when they start to get too comfortable is when they give up easy goals. And we saw it just a couple of nights ago. How do they fix that coming in tonight? Because this is a squad that is very polished, plays in a very tough league. They're going to obviously be even better than the Rangers were a few times.
Yeah, you know, we talk about that goal that we've given up in the last couple minutes of the Rangers match the other night. You hit the nail on the head with calling it concentration. It's just a lack of concentration towards the end of the match. And I think that's what really separates the good from the great. And it's always these little details that start building up over time to really kind of make you a polished, refined player. And one of those key attributes, like fundamental parts of a good player is staying concentrated through 90 minutes. And it's something I think that we've lacked a little bit, the Republic has, through the year, with giving up soft goals at inopportune times when you really need to be a strong, solid squad. So it's something that's tough to teach, really, as you look at Preki. What's Preki doing to kind of, you know, remedy this problem that we've had? And it's tough to kind of, you know, pick that out. How do you train for that? You really can't. You got to put these guys in tired situations and get their brains thinking, get them playing. But it's one of those things that's really what separates the good from the great, is how their concentration is over those 90 minutes.
Well, Djokovic notched 6 saves in the match, and it was 13 shots on goal for the Republic, 14 for the Rangers. But for Bell, Cammy Bell didn't have to work a whole lot. I mean, he recorded one save. He had a couple towards the net, but really didn't count on full shots that attempted it really inside the box there. So for Camby Bell, had a pretty easy night, and Sacramento scores on a big kick from 20 yards out from Christian Gonzalez right at the top. Money spot, you love to see that. He was winding up and sent it through the net. A perfect little curl shot to the top right corner. Gets it in. Sacramento, the fans feeling great all about it. And then there's that concentration we talked about. Come that second half, they just didn't seem to fully have it there, and they were off the mark. They were a step too slow, and really those final moments, you had a draw locked up. So if you say concentration, you work on that. You have your first 11 out here tonight. From out the gates here, what is the Republic going to do? Because West Brom, they're probably going to wait to see what Sacramento does. I mean, they're on a training tour here. They've been here all week. They watched, scouted a little bit. So for Sacramento, what's kind of, I guess, the game plan coming out of the gate?
You know, once again, we talk about these friendlies. Friendlies are difficult. You don't really know what kind of style the opposition is going to be playing. But, I mean, sometimes in these situations, you get a club like West Brom coming in here, playing in the EPL, coming over here, playing against a second, third division league of where the Republic are in the United States. And not necessarily maybe giving them enough credit, and maybe we can come out there in the first 10, 15 minutes, steal a goal, and then sit back for a little bit. But I think the first 15 minutes are going to be real important to kind of feel out the opposition. And honestly, I think West Brom, they're fielding a really, really strong side tonight. So it's going to be important for the first 10 to 15 minutes for the Republic to go out, get some passes going, get some confidence going, get your momentum going, and hopefully be able to move forward and sneak a goal in quickly and then go from there. But I think the first 15 minutes is going to be a real important tell for how the rest of the match is going to proceed.
Well, weather should not be a factor, but injuries can always be such. Alvis Powell out with the right leg. George Fochive, right knee sprain as well. And it looks like Justin Braun appears to be a late scratch as well, so he will not be in the starting lineup as expected just from a few nights ago. And that injury report brought to you by UC Davis Health Systems. And when you talk about guys you brought in, you really make an impact. Alvis Powell was that guy. I mean, he walks in. Coach Pracky is always a little weary about throwing guys right in the starting lineup. It appears he had no problem putting Alvis right in there right away. He proved his worth. Young speed. They're going to miss some of his speed tonight. Yeah,
it's definitely an asset to have on that right side. Whenever you're, when in doubt, you can kind of play a ball in the corner, a long switch maybe, and just let Alvis just, turn on the afterburners and get up that sideline. So it's something that you kind of miss, but also, we got good players filling in for him. And Powell's just one of those players we talked about it as well. He's got the one trait that you can't teach, which is speed. And it's such a valuable asset in games like tonight where you can kind of maybe catch some people by surprise where they're not necessarily doing their full background on each team's doing their homework fully where they're scouting. And you might be able to sneak somebody up the side before they know it and they realize, oh man, I got a guy with pace I'm dealing with for 90 minutes. So they can potentially, sneak in behind and Powell can get some work done. But unfortunately not playing tonight. Have some players filling in that should do admirable job in filling in.
And a couple of injuries for West Brom as well, and they worked through a couple of guys. They're not going to rush anybody back. They've got a few months now to really get ready and get up to full speed before EPL season really gets underway. And one of them is Gareth McCauley. It's really interesting for me to see how this guy, he's been writing a blog for West Brom, and it's been interesting to see his aspect coming to America. We'll talk more about that throughout the broadcast, but just their trip here to California, very impressed. And I'll tell you what, Kevin, they might have brought some of that weather from way out there in the UK. I mean, we had some rain here in July. That's something we've record-setting, 0.02 inches of rain here in Sacramento. But, they probably were pretty excited to see some of that familiar weather because when they landed, it was the mid-90s, pretty high 90s. They were like, whoa, this is some heat.
No, it's something that definitely when the English clubs, the clubs from the UK kind of come over here for their preseason, it's kind of as soon as they get off the plane, it's definitely something that they deal with. And they, plan accordingly that it's going to be warm. But the players do enjoy getting out of the dreary gray weather of the UK and coming over here, get some sunshine, get some heat, get a good sweat in. But it's one of those things, once again, that they definitely have to deal with and take into consideration throughout matches and trainings because they're doing double days right now. I think they got just under a month before their first match, and the Baggies are playing against Southampton in their first game. So they're getting to the point where their full team should be fit and ready to go when you really start looking at the calendar and timing of how they're prepping for their first game.
Well, let's get to their starting lineup here. Goalkeeper today will be Bias Myhill and Liam O'Neill for 3 appearances in the EPL last season as part of the back four. Sebastian Pocagnoli And Chris
A
Beard
game
and
played to
Jonas
the sound
Olsen
of
is
chants,
national
to
player.
the sound
Meanwhile, the
of
midfield will be
anthems.
Craig Gardner, Claudio
This
Jakob
game
from Argentina.
is played to
and
the
Yusuf
sound of
Malumbo
glory.
and Grant Dorl, the attacking midfielder
We don't
there.
only cherish this
1-2 will
game,
be Victor
we
Anichebe
revere
and
it.
Jado Verena.
It is our
So,
heart,
pretty
our
strong
soul,
lineup there. And
our
contact, and then Ben
everything.
Proctor, who's out just moved
And
back
although
to
this
spend
game
time
is
with
for
the
everyone,
World Cup team.
this
And so
club
he
is
the
ours.
US, excuse me,
We
England
are
men's
Sacramento.
national team, but a pretty strong
Indomitable,
lineup.
we
They're
stand
gonna out for you for what?
for the
You
Republic.
know, they're bringing out,
We
like we talked
stand.
about, a pretty strong lineup. We got Anichebe up top, who's just an absolute horse to deal with. He's a big-bodied Nigerian international. I think he came up through the ranks of Everton, and like I said, he's a big-body forward, fast, strong, physical. In the back, you got Olsen, who's just a class player throughout. Great left foot, just like a paintbrush when he's playing the ball out of the back. Big, I think he's 6'4", 6'5". So, I mean, those two players stand out immediately and really make me think that they're bringing a strong lineup, which is exciting.
And let's get to the Sacramento Republic lineup here, as we have a pretty strong front seven here. And in the goalkeeper box tonight, who's gone 6-2-2 on the season, 24 years of age. And it will be Jake Gleason, who will be in the box tonight. And then his back four tonight, as he'll be staring at the backs of them, Emra Clemento, the open tryout signee, along with Mickey Daly making his 21st start on the year. And Nemanja Vukovic, the team leader in minutes, will be the other center back. And out on the right wing will be Jack Avasium. And Octavio Guzman from Chico State in the midfield, along with Ivan Murkovic, Rodrigo Lopez, and Max Alvarez from Napa, California. Now here's the change up front. Little bit changes. You have the back from the U.S. men's under-20 national team. Tommy Thompson playing for the forward position for the first time this season for the Republic. And the Jesuit Witt High graduate, Adam John, the target striker. So a very good balance there, changing it up. Tommy Thompson's been so aggressive. Do you like where he's been inserted tonight?
It's going to be interesting to see how Tommy can play up top. You know, we've seen him on the outside, and traditionally I think he'll play on the outside or in the middle of the midfield. Precky's got him playing up top off of Adam John. Like you mentioned, John's going to be that target striker, back to goal. Hopefully there'll be some balls played up in the air. He'll win some headers, win some second balls, and see if Tommy Thompson can be the scrapper underneath, picking up loose balls and maybe spraying the ball out wide for the midfielders getting up. But it's going to be real interesting to see how Tommy can kind of fill in that role. We've never seen him play that role. And playing against a quality side with the back four of West Brom, it's going to be a big challenge for Tommy tonight, and Adam John for that matter. But it'll be fun to see how those guys can kind of pair up and play against each other.
And he played very well with his time with the men's national team under-20 squad. And I think they were very impressed. I'm sure Coach Brecky and them were able to see a little bit about that. But let's step on down to the field now for the national anthem.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we yelled at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through
Very nicely done there. Well, one team was born in 1878. The other 2014, a little bit of history on the side for West Brom tonight, but Sacramento, they are ready to let everyone know what they're all about. From here in California all the way across the pond to the United Kingdom, Sacramento soccer has arrived. And the Republic coming on strong here this evening. They've got a strong front 11. Kevin Goldthwait, Rob McAllister with you, and that was Lauren Giles there doing a very nice job on the national anthem, giving us a little chills here. I think we got it ready for a big-time match here. This has really the feeling of something bigger than just a friendly.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night. The weather's shaping out to be a perfect night for some soccer. Little Delta breeze coming through, but the buzz is starting to kind of be generated a little bit right now, and it's just going to be an exciting match. I can't wait to see how West Brom comes out and plays.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how John and Thompson team up together. Have not done that so far this season, but two local kids, one's from Jesuit, one went to Granite Bay High School, and it'll be a fun pairing to see two young stars from the San Jose Earthquakes, both on loan. This could be a front pair that we might see in just a couple of years in the Major League Soccer level. These two young players have a lot of skill, a lot of talent, and they are both hungry to prove what they can do against an English Premier League squad here. And as we get going here tonight, this evening has been all about bringing two different squads together. And here's the coin flip down on the field here. And Rodrigo Lopez, who was in the pregame there holding his son, 1 year old there. It's got to be a special moment for him as well. And the tall, lengthy fellow right there that you see is Jonas Olsen, 6'4", lengthy, typically probably recruited to play basketball in most other places, but here on the soccer field, very lengthy, gets the spots very well.
Yeah, he's great in the air, obviously, with the uses his size nicely, and he's one of these guys, he's all left-footed. Similar to how I played, not much of a right foot. I'd say the use for my right foot was getting on and off buses, but Olsen has just got that great left foot, like we talked about. It's just a paintbrush. He strikes a great ball, clips a great ball over the top, and he's a great one-on-one defender as well. So, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. If you look at him, you look at Tommy Thompson, who's about 5'9", 130 pounds soaking wet. So it's going to be a good battle between those two. Hopefully John's going up in the air against Olsen tonight, winning those headers, and Tommy's able to pick up the second balls, which is a really important role for Tommy. He can use his scrappiness, and it's one of those understated traits that Tommy has, is picking up second balls, which is very, very valuable to do that, especially when you're clearing balls out. So hopefully Precky's kind of gave him the rundown on, listen, we want you right underneath or over the top, picking up those second balls.
Jake Gleason is ready. Boaz Myhill is ready as well. Jake Gleason in all gray, Myhill in all blue. It is the Baggies who are wearing their traditional blue and white, and the red, maroon, and brown belonging to the Sacramento Republic. Great night for soccer here. Kevin Goldthwait alongside Rob McAllister here with you. We appreciate you tuning in for wherever you are. As the kickoff temperature, 86 degrees. Sacramento will defend the south end to start things off. Meanwhile, the Baggies will defend the north end as we get warmed up here. Both teams exciting, and we looked at some of the USL Pro teams, some of the other friendlies. I don't think I've seen two teams jumping up and down, trying to stretch out as much as I've seen here tonight. Kevin, this is a big match.
Yeah, you know, once again, no team wants to lose any match. So West Brom's not, they're going to come out here and play. They're going to come out and show that they can play. This is one of those things, like the culture of your club. Doesn't matter who you're playing, where you're playing, what time of day you're playing. You're going to go out there and you're going to do your best to win. So tonight, you know, expect a good fight. It's a friendly. We talked about friendlies before, but by no means are they going to go out and be friends. They're going to go out and battle and fight and scrap to try to get a W tonight.
So here we go. Tommy Thompson, Adam John, Berrino, and Anichebe up top for West Brom. Crowd starting to slowly trickle in here on a Monday night in California as we wait for the referee to start this match here. Everyone just kind of waiting around to get the official word. And we are ready to play some soccer, and the whistle will blow. We are about to get going here as he starts his clock, and we are underway at Cal Expo's Bonney Field here in the east end of Sacramento. Olsen, the first touch. Send it down. There's that big left leg. A nice header by Emra Clementa. West Albion is coached by Alan Irvine, Scottish footballer from Glasgow. Took over just on June 14th Pretty good resume as well. Played at Everton from 81 to 84, but he hadn't coached really in 3 years, and really came out of nowhere to earn this job at West Brom. Everyone was a little surprised that he was named the head manager.
Yeah, you know, he's got a great resume as well. He took over or worked as an assistant for David Moyes, who we all know is the now former manager of Manchester United. So his resume, he's got some great experience. A surprise hiring, but I think he's the right guy for the job. And, you know, the club needs to fought off that relegation battle last year really well. And it'll be interesting to see how these guys mesh and what sort of style of play they'll be playing this year in the Premiership.
Well, Sacramento attacking early here and able to set something up, but not able to get it into where they wanted to, and they'll set it back up to Jay Gleason. So for Sacramento, coached by Preki once again, the two-time MLS MVP and scoring champ. He's a Chivas USA Coach of the Year for the MLS. And 2010, also spent time in Toronto. So 2 coaches with a lot of experience. And Coach Preki also played at Everton in '92, a couple years later. Then Irvine. But the international ties of soccer, and that's the one thing, I don't know if there's any other sport quite like it that draws players from so many different parts of a country and puts them together on certain teams. And everyone's trying to get the best, trying to get an edge. I don't think there's a corner of the world that no one has scouted in the game of soccer quite yet.
Yeah, and you know, that's another part of these friendlies for the Republic. Anytime you're playing, we talk about any time of the year, any time of the day, you're going to want to go out there and put out your best performance. And who knows where a lot of these guys were initially found on both ends, for the Republic as well as West Brom. At some point, they have to be discovered. So tonight, a night like tonight's a perfect opportunity for Republic players to go out and impress, you know, an EPL manager, and you know, maybe get their name out in front of somebody as a memory, or you know, you never know where that road could lead to. So it's important to always go out there and put your best foot forward, and really try to impress some people and play well.
Mirkovic in the middle, staying out of trouble. He's been on the bench for quite a few weeks earlier here. Here's John streaking toward the middle, trying to catch up with it. Myhill comes out. But a good pass, good look for Sacramento. And it'll be interesting to see Avasian, he's come out. He's starting to play a little bit better, more crisp with his passes. So now with Rodrigo and Avasian on the same side, that could spell trouble for West Brom tonight.
Yeah, Avasian's playing pretty high right now, which I like to see. A left back, he's kind of the type of player that likes to get forward, get some services in. And you can see already tonight that he's playing fairly high and pushing. And hopefully, you know, with Rodrigo can kind of step into the middle of the park and really open up that left flank for Jack playing the left back.
Well, we saw Vukovic, number 12 for the Republic, play a lot of that role earlier on. Now he's moved back to a more natural center back position with Daly, and those two have paired very well. And that back four for Sacramento, really the goals have dropped off against, and they have played much better, making life easier for Jay Gleason and company.
Yeah, Vukovic has stepped in nicely. It seems to be the favored pairing in Preki's eyes right now.
And shot to the right, and is sent out of play and off to the chest.
So it seems to be the featured favorite pairing right now for Preki. And, you know, with Delbridge last night or 2 nights ago against Rangers, I thought he played very, very well. He's definitely probably making Preki's job a little bit more difficult with you know, who he's going to play with that first squad, but it seems like Vukovic and Daly seem to be in favor right now.
Low cross, header high, sails off. Avasian trying to track it down and able to pick things up and keep it alive. Guzman there, so Barrino was the one, number 18, running the right side, as the friendlies always go, Kevin. We try to sort out numbers and jerseys, they always seem to be constantly changing. So we figured that out. Here's Lopez working Guzman. Sacramento looking a lot crisper tonight, and there's that matchup. Thompson and Olsen.
You know, the other thing about these friendlies, what I would always try to put into my mind is the first ball you get, make a good, solid, crisp pass. Get your foot through the ball. Don't second guess. Here's a little.
West Brom nearly gave it up, and Tommy Thompson was there to sweep it in.
Yeah, that first ball that you get, hopefully you kind of play yourself into the game that way.
Getting
Look at
physical.
the strength there.
And a move is made, and a foul is called.
Just saw the strength there by Anichibi. Just bullying Daly down, who's not a small guy. So real exciting to see that start. Like to see Daly be a little bit stronger there, but you're dealing with kind of a bull there up top who's just a tough forward to deal with.
So Nichibi and Berino. And this is just right on the edge of the box for West Brom.
Yeah, Daly kind of had no other choice but to reach around and kind of give a little grab on the shoulder and drag him down. See how Gleason deals with this.
Nice ball toward the middle, slapped away by the right hand of Gleason. Great save and gets a pat on the back from West Brom as well.
Yeah, good save by Gleason. Not really tested too much with that save, but you know, 10 times out of 10, I think you're gonna expect Gleason to make that save. Does a good job dealing with it, pushes it out for a corner kick, and we're regrouping here.
Chris Baird even slapped him on the back. Sends one toward the net, headed high and way up top. No play on the net for Gleason, so he'll walk away now. So Sacramento so far in the season, they're 0-2 with friendlies, lost to Atlas FC from Mexico. And then the Rangers from Scotland 2 nights ago here, 2-3 in non-USL Pro matches. So they've clearly wanted to improve on that record a little bit as they've worked their way to the 4th position in the USL Pro. They're trying to make a stance against some of these bigger teams and get ready. I mean, this is the type of competition. Gleason misplays that to come back up and get it. Anichebe came out and played a very nice ball, really putting the pressure on Sacramento.
Yeah, Gleason didn't even look comfortable playing that ball short to Vukovic. Gets the ball back, doesn't really peek over his right shoulder to see that there's pressure coming from Anichebe. Fortunate there for that ball to bounce straight into the ground and up so he can grab it.
Sacramento a little bit off balance here. They've given up a couple of quick, easy balls, and West Brom's trying to make them pay for it. Anichebe trying to beat Clemente, but Clemente able to get there faster. And now Clemente trying with the counter. Nearly gives it back up. Skirting it to Tommy Thompson along the touchline. Thompson with a nice pause, finding Guzman. And that's the type of run Sacramento needs to make. Kevin, we had that possession, they had it there, and they gave it right back up, and now West Brom is turning the other way and running with it. Berino shuffling left, shuffling right, is double team. Closest mark is Vukovic, and
good save.
Gleason came up, and I don't think he saw the West Brom trailing.
Yeah, I don't know if he knew too much about that, but he's put himself in the right place, right time. Ball looks like it goes off his chest for a corner kick. No, they're calling a goal kick here.
And it was Gardner, so it was Gardner who was streaking, and I think we saw in the Rangers game, these teams are very aggressive. West Brom has almost come out calculated aggressive, a little bit different than what we saw from the Rangers.
Yeah, and you saw, Liam O'Neill, the young academy player for West Brom, getting up around on the right flank, serving a good ball in the box, which is what you're asked as a right back to do, which I don't think is really O'Neill's traditional position. So looks like he's filling in admirably, and it seems like something that he might be asked to do. And maybe the Baggies are just trying to test him out there, see how he can go.
Headed around, here's Guzman again. Guzman in there for his size. Here's a shot, and Mahel saves it down, but Alvarez has been aggressive. Last couple of matches we've seen him, he's taken some pretty long out shots, but you know what? He's testing the goalies early.
Yeah, Alvarez has a nice left foot, and I like that, testing the goalie early, keeping him on his front studs, keeping him aware. Good effort.
Work in the middle here, West Brom on an 11-day training camp.
Well done by Clemente there, stepping up.
Adam John losing it there. Sacramento pushing. Here's Clemente. Shot on goal, tip tie. Myhill's here, but a great look, and I think Myhill was almost a second late on that. He like he got to get a fingertip on that.
Yeah, it looked like he was kind of caught off balance a little bit. Not the hardest driven of shots Clemente's was with his left foot. It's really his off foot. Roro was streaking up the side. Maybe could have played him, but Clemente puts a good ball in nonetheless. And here we go. Roro deadly on set pieces. Whoa, we got...
I think it's Tommy Thompson. No, he's saying Tommy get back. So they might try a short ball to Tommy, right back to Roro. That has been a nice bread and butter for them. Clemente Vukovic inside the box. Moving is John. On the backside is Daly. Guzman. Up top is Alvarez. Ball is just sent too far. So not the best we've seen from Roro thus far this season. And back when we wind things up here, Alvarez has been without fear of just letting loose sometimes. And Mile really had to come out and make a nice play here. So no score here. Vukovic.
We'll give away.
Tommy Thompson down to his knees with Sacramento trying to keep it in their attacking third here against West Brom. Slipping on that loose turf. O'Neal goes down, but able to recover. And that's just a great ball down the field. Vukovic there steps in perfectly.
Communication here.
Here's John and Thompson. Interesting to see it. They get bunched up. The spacing's been a little bit off here early on, Kevin.
Yeah, just simple communication. You know, Tommy and John haven't been playing too much together, so hopefully they get sorted out.
Max Alvarez shifty, tries to send another one toward the net. Kept on the floor, picked up by Myhill. But I guess Sacramento looked at a little bit what they did 2 nights ago, and they didn't get enough shots on goal. I think they're trying something new here. Into the middle is Barrino. Barrino has the Republic backstepping, and up comes Gleason.
You know what I want to see is Vukovic and Daly can't settle back like they're doing right there. They need to step up with Barrino coming in, settling, getting the ball, turns, runs at Vukovic with no pressure, no one getting up his backside to try to, you know, make it difficult for him to receive. So Vukovic and Daly need to get up on the forwards as they check and try to receive balls.
Here's Malumbu. Played Paris Saint-Germain, West Brom 2009. He was a player of the year, and he has really filled in nicely for them. He's been a key cog for them throughout a lot of this last few seasons. Vukovic takes him down, and that could be a big chance here for West Brom inside the box.
We talk about his strength and physicality. That's a perfect example of that. And Vukovic is just absolutely mauls him, grabs him by the shoulders. He doesn't need to do anything. Just get goal side, let him receive the ball and push him back outside. Instead, he goes and tries to, make the superstar play, stick his foot in, and ends up grabbing, pulls him down. Absolute penalty in my book. And
well, Matthew Buckman thought he saw Vukovic rip him down, and Vukovic is still very upset about it. And now Lopez, the captain,
that's
is explaining exactly what he's doing.
That's
Almost
just
a little box
size and strength with that ball into the box.
So Gleason now on an island, and for the first time this season at home, Gleason's going to have to make a serious guess here in the right direction as setting this thing down, and to take this penalty will be Dorrance. So Graham Dorrance, a Scottish footballer, and into the net. They score first, an easy one into the net.
Yep.
And so West Brom on top 1-0.
Nothing Gleason really can do there. You got to guess your side, commit to it, and go. Well taken penalty by Dorrance. Does what's asked of him there. But you know what? We really need to make sure we're better defensively when those balls are coming in. Don't be too over anxious with it. And there it is, slotted on Jake Gleason's left-hand side as he dives the opposite way. But no reason to be too over-aggressive in that situation. There's no immediate danger. Have him receive the ball, force him outside, and don't panic. And it looks like Vukovic maybe panicked a little bit in that situation and ends up committing that foul and gives up the penalty, which here we are down 1-0.
Easy ball for West Brom as Dorrance puts it in. Coming to the 13th minute. And this was a team that really struggled in the EPL, just 3 points against Norwich City. And 17th place, nearly demoted, as those bottom 3 in the EPL changing hands. So this is a club that's trying to fight its way back and finish with 36 points on the season. And they're trying to make some moves to work their way back up the ranks.
Yeah, I don't think too many American fans give them enough credit, a club like West Brom, for what they've done for year in and year out over the last few years. That relegation zone, it is a tough, tricky enemy devil down at the bottom of the table. And fortunately for them, they did enough to stay up in the top level in the Premiership, and saves them. The amount of money you get by staying in the Premiership is absolutely absurd. So here they are now, new, clean, fresh slate for the next season, the upcoming season. And hopefully they can get themselves back up in the middle of the table. Maybe here's Roro with the ball.
Lopez.
Oh, he's going to want that one again.
Mile easily to his knees. Probably should have sent it to the far post.
Yeah, maybe trying to catch the keeper leaning the wrong way. Myhill comes out, does a nice job, does what's asked of him.
Well, even though the score shows 1-0, it shows
you got to pressure this. Now they're running down our throats. That's Daly and Vukovic right there. You got to get up the backside for Avanichibi.
There's Clementa. Into the middle, pausing. Malumbo with a shot on goal, just high over the crossbar.
And Rob, that's simple soccer there. You don't let a forward, if you're a center back, you don't let the forward receive the ball, turn, and start sprinting at you. You got to get up, you got to pressure, make it difficult for them.
And one thing I've seen from the Republic, they've taken pretty good shots on goal, and this thing easily could be 1-1, but it has not been the case.
Yeah, a couple good chances, and like we talked about, hopefully you can kind of steal one quickly. They were 15 minutes past, and obviously we haven't snuck one in, but it's going to be a challenge now for the next 30 minutes of the first half to see how we can perform, maybe string some passes together, move the ball, 1 and 2 touch, side to side.
Working with it, Avesian. Nice footwork into the middle, trying to find Alvarez. Vukovic will look to set things up, but West Brom pressuring that back. The center backs have been looking the faces of Berrino and Ichibi all night long. A little scoop for Alvarez. Here's now John. And John's just got to start moving forward, Kev.
Yeah, get himself in the box.
Alvarez.
John shouldn't be taking more than 4 touches at a time. If he's taking 3 or 4 touches, he's not in the right part of the field. He's a guy target forward. If he can take 1 and 2 touches, he's going to be as most effective as he can be. Look at this strength here.
Just size, a little sides out. Avesian wins it.
Yeah, scrappy, I like it.
Right back come West Brom. Clementa, who has played so well. And his last 4 contests now really doesn't look like he's going to give up. Is that right back position anytime soon. Malumbo takes it away. Malumbo put on a clinic here. Trying to with a streaky teammate. Dorns down the field. Dorns, a shot on goal. West right there. Jake Gleason. West Brom had a good opportunity. Good look at the net, but Jake Gleason was there and with 2 elbows able to shove it right back.
Yeah, I think Dorns is going to want that one back again. Hit hard right at Gleason's face. Gleason does a good job, puts his paws up there, makes a decent save.
And Guzman able to pick up the call there.
I think one thing that's going to be important tonight for Republic is the set pieces. I think we've been so good at them all year. One of our traits, one of the positive things that we do is we do a very good job of our attacking set pieces. So let's see how when we get these opportunities, if we can capitalize. Looks like Preki wants to play quickly here.
Avesian working the left side. Little step over. Thompson. Thompson. In traffic. Nice battle. Backpedaling. Off the chest. Alvarez, nice footwork. Alvarez trying to work inside the box. A big slap by Clementa set high. So who is West Brom for those tuning in? Well, they started off in 1878, became Albion in 1880, and they have won just 1 EPL championship. That was the 1919-1920 season, where they won the FA Cup, which is really the version of the Open Cup here. They've won it 5 different times. The latest coming in 1968. So really at their peak, you probably consider the 60s as really when West Brom was shining. They haven't had a lot of luck since then.
Yeah, it hasn't necessarily been a tough go. They've been battling, and here they are in the Premiership now. Hopefully they can continue their run, keep up in that top flight. But a club with just a great history. The Baggies, as they're affectionately known as, and you know what? I think they have a pretty good following. They got some guys chanting here tonight, so some of their supporters have followed them or joined since they've been in the Premiership, watching them on the weekends here.
Berrino working that corner, trying to get a corner kick. I don't think he'll get it. Returned it over to Republic.
Yeah, Berrino looks like he's a pretty strong forward as well. But I don't think, in Ichibi, we don't see too many players with that sort of physicality. The Republic don't throughout the year. I mean, his sheer size is just something different that we're not used to playing against.
Well, here's the corner. Nice ball, John.
Well done by John.
Able to deflect it. Well, Berrino, he stormed on the stage with West Brom and really made an impact from the get-go, as he scored a hat-trick in his first start in 2013 with the club. He signed on till 2017. English national, played on the under-16 to under-21 squads. And a big-time national team member. And the whistle will blow and keep things going. But Berrino now becoming really the senior striker on this team. They really start to lean on him to make big plays. And it'll be fun to see how this thing works out for West Brom and Berrino over the next few seasons.
Yeah, you know, just score goals. That's his job. See how he'll do, how much run he'll be given this year. And if you're scoring goals, you're going to be on the field.
Gleason looking for Evasian.
Look at little Jack getting up, winning a header. Good for him.
So many ties here, too, is Graham Smith, the technical director, who played for West Brom in 72 and 73, made 10 appearances with the Baggies. Here in Sacramento, trying to put the best team possible on the team. He was a goalkeeper then. Now, was Graham with you with the Timbers? And he was there in 2010. Was that a little bit before your time?
Graham's son, Adam, was our goalkeeper coach. So he was there for, I think, 2 years. Graham was definitely involved. He was down in Ventura. We would go down and do our preseason tour. Graham would set up a lot of friendlies, a lot of games for us. But a guy who's long, has deep, deep roots in the game, and a huge asset here for Republic to have him on staff. So just a great manager, a great technical director, and just one of those guys who knows everybody.
You played Major League Soccer for those tuning in for 7 seasons, and Portland was one of those stops. New York was one of those stops. International players, you come. I mean, was there a chance where you got to go travel to some of these places in the UK? I know that you had a little bit of time. You ever play West Brom? Able to get that opportunity?
We were up in Portland. West Brom visited us maybe 3 years ago. We actually gave them a good run. I think we ended up losing 2-1, but a pretty evenly fought match. And once again, you know, a club like West Brom, when they come in, it's just, you know, you're going to have a scrappy, hard-nosed match to deal with.
Good work, the Republic. Get things going, and West Brom, though, with the goal after the penalty, a wide open chance, as it was Gleason all alone, and Dorans sends it through after picking up the foul on Vukovic. Vukovic pleading his case unsuccessfully, but a big test for the Republic here. Lost to the Rangers, and just the size of West Brom, and just this Anichebe, who's just
monster.
He's got some big size on him. If you measure him down a little bit, you know, looking for him, he's 6'3", 180 pounds. Looks a lot bigger than that.
Oh, good ball there. Good ball by Baird.
Sends it over to the middle. Daly comes over. Still pushing. West Brom has won the possession time so far in this match.
See, this situation now, Republic have to get out. Get up to the midfield line almost. Make the field smaller, easier to defend. Keep track of who you're tracking. Keep an eye on your man you're matching up against.
Beautiful Monday night here in the low 80s at Cal Expo Bonney Field. Kevin Goldthwait, Rob McAllister with you. And the crowd just kind of waiting for something to cheer about. They were so ignited after that Christian Gonzalez goal on Saturday night. And it's been a tough go for him.
And you see West Brom, they're completely okay with fouling in that part of the field. It's not necessarily the most dangerous place for an offensive set piece, so, you know, smart by them. Foul in that area of the field, not anything truly that much deeper. Get your guys back, set up. Good overlapping run by Clementa. Get in there, though.
Trying to run that lane. Defensively, Dorans. It would come with Guzman coming up. And one thing we'd like to say from Octavio is size. Even though he's young, he's really got to be able to, like, the counter a little bit. West Brom's putting the size advantage on Sacramento's back four. I think you'll probably see Octavio do a little bit of the same with the midfielders.
Right. You know, a guy like Tommy, he's not out there for his size. He's out there for his scrappiness. He's got a great soccer brain. Hopefully he can pick balls up.
There's Lopez into the box. Sent away.
Good ball in, not the best of runs.
Here's Thompson. Thompson has been battling.
That's the thing I like about him, though. It doesn't matter who he's up against. He's just going to battle and battle and battle. That's the scrappiness in him. That's, I think, what's so appreciated from coaches and players on the team, on the field as well.
Well, he's battling with Sebastian Pocanuli, who just signed on with the club. He was just added a 3-year deal. Vukovic coming all the way up and wins the physical battle there over Gardner.
Hard tackle there. You know, West Brom's got some issues up top to deal with. Their leading goal scorer, Shane Long, last year left, I think, midway through the season. So what they need to do is they need to find a goal scorer up top, and I think they might have the necessary pieces in place now to kind of fill that void. But that's a big question going into the season is who's going to be scoring goals for the Baggies this year.
It might be Barrino. He's moved up there, and that might be one of the spots. And clearly they're trying to work out a few things, and Ichibi might be one of those.
Yeah, I think they're going to be leaning on Ichibi a lot to score some goals.
He only scored 3 last season for the Baggies.
I think he's got the potential. He has the talent. Let's see if he has the desire, the drive to make sure that he is the one scoring those goals, because I think West Brom, if they want to continue to stay in the Prem, they're going to need to have someone scoring goals for them.
Here's Adam John working the right flank. Tommy Thompson into the middle.
Earned a corner kick here. Good job.
And this will likely be Alvarez's side, so Alvarez will step in.
You know, if you were watching the Rangers game 2 nights ago, you had Boyd and Miller up top. Boyd was that big physical type forward, but Anichibi's just completely different than that. He's a big physical guy, but in a different style. He's kind of the bull in the china shop who can take you on one-on-one.
Trying to dump it off to Tommy Thompson. It looks like they'll get another corner out of it.
Good ball in by Roro there. Tries to slip Tommy Thompson in. Just a little light on that touch. Good tackle by the Baggies. Sends out for another corner kick here.
So Malumbo was there. In the boxes, Clementa and Vukovic. Guzman has now worked his way down.
Like to see some good runs here. Make it difficult.
Tommy Thompson played close to Alvarez. Now at about the 18-yard line. Bender inside. Crowd into it, but sails deeper.
Guzman can do here. It's a handball.
Guzman, they'll try looking for a handball. They'll blow the whistle, and they'll get it right back.
Yeah, it's fortunate. He dinked it up a little bit.
Here's the one thing Sacramento's been very good at is these set pieces, especially with Rodrigo Lopez and Alvarez on the corners.
Absolutely.
And this is where they probably need to take advantage of here.
You need to be real. Once you get these positions, these balls in these positions in the field, I think every field player needs to be on their front studs, bouncing up and down, working their tail off to make sure they can get on the end of this thing.
Crowd into it. Lopez settling his teammates. Daly in motion. Cross is just sent way high and over the bar, looking for maybe John or even a Daly or Emler Clementa possibly. Streaking down the middle, couldn't find him, a little bit too hard.
Yeah, you don't see Roro do that too often. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and know that the guy typically serves in a great ball, but he knows better than that, that you need to make sure that you're getting somebody a chance to get on the end of it there.
So Myhill, who's on loan with Birmingham in 2011, 2012. He's hasn't been tested that much, but interesting kind of local connection. Born right here in Modesto, but did not stick around the Central Valley very long. Moved to the UK at about 1 year old, so I don't think he ever remembers even living here, Kevin. But kind of a nice little home reunion for him, coming about an hour and 15 minutes south of here.
A little too hot for him, maybe.
Even at 1, he knew that this was not going to be the soccer climate for him. Well, it's worked out pretty well. Playing in the EPL.
Yeah, he's playing behind Ben Foster, who's one of England's best goalies right now.
May see him Friday night. That's still undecided at this point. Just got back. He was a part of a shutout with Costa Rica. Really the best match that England played in the entire cup. They only had 1 point.
Yeah, Gleason's got to use his left foot there.
On the attack, West Brom. Mirkovic comes over. Offside anyway.
Yeah, I think, you know, West Brom, I think it's a huge benefit, a huge asset having a guy like Foster in the back of the net, tending goal for him, making sure that they're keeping clean sheets, trying to keep clean sheets. But then, you know, when you have someone dependable and solid like that in the back, it's a huge, huge plus.
Well, he's been on the national team for 6 years now.
Yeah, got a good run with United for a while when Ferguson was there. Went somewhere else to get some first-team minutes as I think Van de Sar was the keeper back then. He's playing behind. Now with De Gea in. Gleason knows better than that. You know, that's another thing when you're watching these games. Pay attention to how goalies, how their distribution is. That's a huge part of what they do day in and day out. And one of the things you really kind of evaluate goalkeepers on is how well they can distribute the ball. If they're keeping it, both feet, want to make sure you can strike a good ball with your left and right feet.
Well, both teams working so hard for possession, especially for Sacramento down 1-0 right now. They've definitely got to get all the possessions they can. And they've had a hard time. When they get those set pieces, it's worked out well, but when you don't have a chance to get it first, here's Tommy Thompson. Into Guzman, trying to get right back to the Granite Bay product. Into Alvarez, traffic. Pillow feet, scoops it away. And offside on Adam John. So Adam John, as you ever follow him on Twitter, you'll notice that it's Pillow Feet in the name there. And well, he was given that name by Jason Beatty, giving them that because his cries, his soft touch for someone that size. And so he joined with the Earthquakes, and they wanted something for the big fella. And probably the opposite of what you'd think about Adam John. But so Pillow Feet, that's the nickname comes from.
If someone's going to give you a nickname of Pillow Feet, I think it's something that you'll accept and be happy about, rather than Cement Feet.
So, you don't want to be stuck in
I've known
the
a couple
blocks.
Cement Feet fellas.
And
It's a
here's
good
Gleason
ball.
again, looking at Vician.
not
Winning
the-
it, however,
not
once
nec-
again, Gardner.
Not necessarily the guy that you're going to want to play the ball in the air to like that. Gleason should know a little bit better than that, but still getting it out of the box, getting out of the danger zone.
And Gleason on loan with the Timbers, kind of relegated as the third goalie, and was considered really the goalie of the future, but now that's a little bit uncertain now.
He needs to break out. I think we've talked about it, that he's just got unbelievable potential. He's a great shot stopper. We've seen a little bit of, poor decision making in the first part of this game with his distribution, but that's something that comes of age and with age. Good step by Clemente. He's done that a few times tonight now. See, keep going forward. Move the ball.
There's John setting things up, and for Gleason, originally from New Zealand, made his MLS debut in 2011. On and off with the Timbers, was up with the Open Cup for a couple matches, but didn't make an appearance.
Great ball by Roro there. I love that.
Here's Clementa. Clementa's been very active on the attack in the last several contests. Here's Guzman, sends it very high, looking for Tommy Thompson with a header. And John trying to follow Tommy Thompson on a second chance. Just too hard, almost got too excited and sent it away.
Yeah, it looks like Myhill, the ball got caught up in the wind a little bit. Myhill should have came out and grabbed that. Caught up in the wind, falls, and Tommy Thompson's battling for that header, being scrappy again. Ball falls to Guzman. Guzman plays it over Thompson. Thompson, unfortunately, flubs his kick a little bit and goes out for a goal kick. But a good opportunity there for the Republic.
So Tommy Thompson, he's a little frustrated there trying to score his first goal with the Republic this season, and that would have been a beauty and got Sacramento right back into this. They trail by 1 to West Brom.
You know who's stepping up? You see Guzman. Guzman's playing really high right now. Almost as a withdrawn type third forward. We've seen him do this for the last 5-10 minutes, maybe even more. Interesting to see if Precky's allowing that, if Precky's maybe telling Guzman to step up, kind of filling as that third forward, leaving Mirkovic almost alone. But we got Roro tucking in too, kind of giving Evasian it free roam out on the left flank.
Here's Tommy showing some of that speed. Off the chest of Evasian.
Evasian, a big switch would have been nice there.
Slide tackle taking him down to the turf. There's that physical presence from Guzman. Guzman still working. It's in the middle of the park here, trying to set it up, and West Brom will just send it over the top. Daly shielding it, and West Brom wins it. Gardner comes up as part of the attack, but Berrino continues to impose that physical game of his onto that back four, especially the center backs for the Republic.
Yeah, and it's a smart play by Berrino as well. And try to play an offside
Way
trap
offside,
here.
no offside call, nearly gave up a goal. Evasian just let it go, and that could have spelled trouble. Gardner just sent it a little bit wide as even Gleason wasn't ready for it.
Gardner could have taken 2 or 3 more touches there.
He had a wide open net, and Veronica Perez, the assistant along the sideline, did not raise the flag.
Yeah, Evasian trying to hold him offside, trying to hold him to push him offside.
We talked about with the Rangers 2 nights ago where you said it's a dangerous game you play.
It's an absolute dangerous game, and you could be, the referee, the linesman could have missed the call, but still you're the one that's liable for that. And it's a fine line to play. And one of the worst feelings in the world is when you think someone's offsides and you don't see the linesman flag come up and you see a guy one-on-one with your goalie in this situation. Fortunately for Republic, blows it a little bit wide.
Malumbu misdeals it, and so Tommy Thompson now pushing it up. Back down to the field goes Berrino. West Brom still up on their feet, working the possession, trying to get to the attacking third. Here's an Ichibi.
See, Daly's got to make him go back. Perfect. That's his job. When an Ichibi checks, you got to make him go backwards. See if we can counter here.
Tommy Thompson looking for a teammate, finds Roro. Roro and John slows it back up.
Poor ball
And
there.
Sacramento just gave up a good chance to press.
Yeah.
Sacramento's counterattacks have been thwarted pretty good by West Brom tonight. Slipping is Alvarez, loses it. Now West Brom pushing. Good. Daly's got to play some catch up, showing the speed. And Nichibi outside the box.
There you go. Job well done. Daly, that's all you got to do. Make him go backwards.
West Brom up by a goal. Free kick. Gleason guessed wrong, and Doran scores for the Baggies. Olsen, a little sloppy and loses it.
A little breather for the back four. Get him out. Get organized.
If you see the flashing lights just behind my hill, well, that is the California State Fair and the Carnival. And we might have a caution thrown here, and it is. So Malumbu getting physical and called for the yellow at the 37th mark.
Yeah, just a little handball, intentional handball. Roro plays a nice little flick around Malumbu. Malumbu's got to figure it out. Grabs it with his hand rather than chase.
There's
Picks up a
Clemente
caution.
settling it.
Yeah.
But one thing we're talking with some of the West Brom assistants down before the match. Here's Tommy Thompson working near the box. And they said, you know, we want to go the other way. We want to head south in the second half. And I don't think Sacramento was going to allow that to happen. They said, I'm worried our players are going to get distracted by all the lights and the roller coasters and stuff going on. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of
Gravitron's going to look pretty appealing to those guys as they're running down the field.
And that's good Carnival knowledge there, Kevin Goldthwait. They got a couple of different things. They got the Vertigo up there. Have you tried the Vertigo yet?
Not yet.
Tommy Thompson pushed down, and here's a set piece coming up for Sacramento. They've got the Ferris wheel right around the ballpark here. I mean, so typically they kind of have a fun zone, I guess you'd call it, for Sacramento. They got the bands and beer gardens and things like that. Had it at Hughes Stadium. Well, I think this is probably the most fun zone you could possibly get when you've got roller coasters right behind you.
Yeah, definitely. And here we go. We got Roro once again. Dangerous. This is a good opportunity for Republic. These are the opportunities when you're playing a quality side like West Brom. You need to capitalize on these. Take advantage of them as best you can. Way easier said than done, I understand that. But this is just an important part of this game is going to be set pieces for Republic.
And they
Look at Roro moving the ball a little bit. I think it's a little bit of cheekiness on his side.
set the wall here at 5.
Wall was pretty
Guzman in
close.
motion. Tommy Thompson in motion off the face of that wall. Evasian trying to collect it.
That wall looked about 6 yards rather than 10 yards. And Roro was even asking for the referee, give him a little bit more. I think it was a well-struck ball, but unfortunately that wall was pretty tight to where the set piece was taken.
And off the, like the face of whoever's sitting in the middle there, didn't get the number, but in that situation, are you trying to bend it in? You don't really want to skirt it through on the floor.
No, you're trying to put a little bit of bend on it right over the wall, and if you can, you want to put a little topspin on it and have it drop down over, hit it over the wall and have it duck down right under the crossbars. Your perfect spot. But that way, the goalie's typically on that far side, not really covering the side where the wall is. So if you kind of just dink it over the wall, put a little topspin on it, that's the ideal shot there, which you don't necessarily need to hit too hard.
There's Merkovich. And Lopez a little bit quiet. Didn't get to see him in the Rangers match. Here he is against West Brom. He's been so good at home this season. In fact, he's been good all year long. Leads the team in assists. Nice takeaway from Tommy Thompson. Crowd likes it. Roro at top, about 35 yards plus out, and they'll concede a little bit and give it back up. But here's Evasian working that left side, and there is the whistle as offside is called. It just broke a little too soon. Crowd doesn't like it, but I think that's the right call.
Right, good effort. That's the right idea. Maybe a little bit anxious feet there by Jack, but you know what? That's a good ball, good position to be in. Like to see that, and hopefully next time he's just onside by a yard or so, you know?
West Brom, and there's that box out again. Anichebe has been so good at just sealing off the Republic. Didn't get the possession here. Avacian will try to quickly get it downfield for the Republic. They're starting to move on attack. They're putting a little pressure on West Brom. They've won here the last 6 minutes or so. Kevin wants them to keep going forward, and I think so does the fans right in front of us.
There's Roro. Roro's got good vision. He finds that ball. Mirkovic should have played that switch it to Clementa as he's just streaking up the right flank. Switch it again here.
Fight in the middle still. West Brom has seen it a little bit too long into their side of the field here.
Too many touches. Move, yeah, there you go. Move the ball.
Here's Alvarez, now on the break. Alvarez will take a shot. Mild almost didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, that ball had a little swerve on it, dipped. It looks like totally caught Mild off guard. Fortunately, gets his foot on it, which you don't typically see isn't your standard procedure for that sort of save. But you know what? Alvarez isn't afraid to take those shots from long distance. Puts a good boot on it. Puts his laces through the back of the ball. Dips a little bit and becomes a difficult ball to deal with.
One nothing. Advantage here by West Brom. Dorans.
Good little spell here the last few minutes by Republic. They're moving the ball. I like to see them move it a little bit quicker.
Vukovic coming up. And whistle blown, and Gardner is hit with a yellow card. So for West Brom, they've come overseas here and enjoying their trip here to California. And Gareth McCauley, who's trying to work back from an injury, but Gareth would be a key player as a defender this season, kind of with West Brom in 2011, but he's been writing a blog, which has been fun to see. Nice ball by Sacramento. Avacian settling it through. Over the top, over his head. Now here's Tommy Thompson. Tommy Thompson losing the physical battle as Jakob able to take it away. And here's Mirkovic, but interesting to watch as Brom, you know, there's an 18-hour flight, flew into San Francisco, and I think they got a real taste of what traffic is like from San Francisco to Sacramento on a Friday afternoon. Yeah. It is not fun, but they said they were excited to see Alcatraz and the Golden Gate, things like that. Got used to time zone. Been training down at Casumnes. They were very impressed facilities there, and that's where the Republic train as well. And they've been having 2-a-days, as you said, and then last night, or excuse me, Saturday night, they came to the match and were just thrilled. They had said they have never seen a soccer match and a carnival at the same time.
It's a very unique experience. It really is.
I don't know if this is people think it's that odd here in California. We do so many weird things in the United States, but for these players, and Garrett McCauley, he was G-Mac, as they call him, was very impressed, and he said they had a great time. They left right before the Rangers scored the winning goal. They said they wanted to beat traffic. They learned their lesson, I think, on day one, but I think they're having a pretty good time. And here they are tonight, up 1-0 over Sacramento, and having even a better evening.
Great ball by Roro.
Here's a chance for the Republic. Working the left flank, cross, and nice job again by the West Brom.
Liam O'Neill does a good job defending. Gets his body in the right position, but love the ball by Roro.
Here's Alvarez, winds up, shot, far post, sent Mild, a diving save attempt, but didn't need to as it skirted outside the post.
You know, good job, good work there. Roro plays a good ball into Avisayon, gets a good service in. Fortunately, here's the replay. The shot goes just wide. Looks like Myhill probably had that covered, but you know what? For the cross getting blocked by O'Neill, Republic stay with it, and end up getting a decent opportunity and a good shot by Alvarez there with his left foot that sails just wide. So like to see them fight in that final third. Just because the service doesn't necessarily go perfect according to plan, they're still in that attack mode and moving forward and putting a good shot on the goal.
There's Anichebe, who's been such a pain in the Republic side this evening. He's still fighting for it. And we're talking about bruises and getting hit. I think Anichebe is going to be responsible for about 80% of the woes that we sit in the ice bath for the Republic.
Yeah, he looks like he's a guy that's just all elbows and all knees.
Great tackle by Guzman. Didn't get the ball back, though. So we had 1 minute of extra time here to be played. Emeril Clementa, we'd like to see maybe Emeril Clementa get a little bit more aggressive too, but maybe he's being called back as part of that third defender. Noah Evasian's been up a lot.
Yeah, they're definitely throwing Guzman up top as almost the third striker. You know, I haven't seen him, you know, it's a new little lineup what they're doing, or maybe a new responsibility for Guzman. Good ball.
And just sliding, missing. Here's Clementa. Clementa winding up. Clementa with a shot high, far to the right. Couldn't get it. He just stepped back a little too much. Needed to get the nose down, and it did not go.
Yeah, the only thing that should be going through his head at that time is hit target, hit target, hit target. That's the most important. There it is. It just sails over in the Tower Bridge Battalion. But good ball forward once again. Roro springing people, getting people in behind the defense. Good opportunity there, really was. Like to see him take maybe 2 or 3 more positive touches with a little bit more pace. Maybe allow himself to kind of maybe, you know, get himself a little bit closer to the goal and strike that thing far post.
Emeril Clementa playing indoor a year ago in the Bay Area. And so the whistle blows. So the first half is in the books. West Brom, Sacramento, and it's the Baggies who lead by a goal. And it was Graham Dorans on a free kick against Jake Gleason. Jake Gleason went right, the shot went left, and that's where we stand. So we'll take a quick break, step aside here. Another exciting half between the Baggies from West Brom and the Republic here from Sacramento. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Bonney Plumbing, Heating, Air and Rooter Service. Your premier home service experts and proud founding partners of the Sacramento Republic FC. Bonney, making fans since 1978.
And welcome back to half. Rob McAllister, Kevin Goldthwait with you, but it's West Brom with a 1-0 advantage here in a friendly, the third for the Republics this season. And they have not gone so well the first two, but now we're joined by the technical director, Graham Smith. Graham, thanks for coming up here with us. What do you think about the match so far?
For both sides. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, it's a win-win situation for both sides. West Bromwich Albion are really taking the game seriously, and I know Preki wanted to put his strongest, what he thought would be his strongest team out, and both teams are playing up to those expectations.
So we have a historical photograph of Mr. Smith here popping up here. Do you remember this at all?
Yeah, that was one of the many goals that I conceded in my illustrious career, yeah.
So nice of them to put that up to remind you, correct?
68,000 people having a laugh. There
Look at that. That's awesome.
My goodness me. Where'd you dig that up from, the grave?
Yeah, absolutely. We dove through the archives, dug through the archives to find this.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, what do you think of the first half? It looked like maybe the last 15 minutes of the first half, Republic kind of finally found their groove a little bit, started playing the ball, moving a little better after a rough first 30 minutes of kind of trying to maybe feel out what West Brom was all about.
Yeah. Well, I think what you've got to understand, Kevin, is that, you know, there's a distinct difference in the style of play. You've got the middle four of West Bromwich Albion are actually just saying, okay, come and take the ball by us. So our midfield players are looking around. They're not really getting pressed as such, and so they were making mistakes. We were making those mistakes and giving the ball away in the first 15 minutes. And the lads at the back, having someone like Victor Anichebe, the Nigerian international, in front of you is a bit daunting, you know, and he's knocked a few players around. It's a great learning experience for our boys.
Right, I mean, with Anichebe up top, it really is to see some sort of physicality and size that you don't typically see day in and day out. And you got to learn how to play as a defender against that sort of imposing, powerful force. So once again, just an interesting night with how the team is how they play different style of soccer than what the Republic's used to. And it's going to be fun to see how they can kind of maybe go in the locker room, regroup, maybe have some new strategy coming out and see how they can regroup and go forward in the second half.
Well, yes, I would agree. I mean, you said quite rightly in the last 15 minutes, we showed that we can actually take the game to West Brom. I think the stats will probably show that we had more shots on target, shots at goal. Maxi Alvarez, Roro, they've got to keep doing it. You know, little Tommy Thompson getting in there, he excites me a lot, Tommy.
Absolutely.
I like him very much. So I think that the fans are getting their money's worth tonight, that's for sure.
And what do you think of just looking back, West Brom? I know you played there. We showed the video there, and you played, I think, 72, 73. Is that about right? And what your time there? What makes it so special playing in an EPL team?
Well, it's very special for our lads to play an EPL team. There's so many light years ahead in the real world. But deep down, after the game tonight, our players will wonder. I wonder if I can actually go further. You know, we are not disgracing ourselves. Very proud of the way the boys are playing, and I know Preki has got them well drilled. I'm hoping to see them perhaps nick a goal in the second half, and it will do wonders for their confidence and take them through the season. I mean, if you'd have said this at the start of the season, they'd been playing against the Premier League team and acquitting themselves very well, people would have thought we were a bit off our rockers, you know, but we've got them here, and it's great to see them.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head with the comment that this is a good confidence boost. He played 45 minutes against some of the best competition in the world. He conceded one goal, a penalty, which was, you know, a well-deserved penalty, but here we go. We've had a few good chances going forward, created a few good chances. So once again, I think if you put a little wind in their sails with knowing that you go into halftime down 1-0, and maybe as this kind of rolls on, as the next few weeks come, players do really start to think, maybe I can, you know, one day, what do I need to do? Is it going into the gym more? Is it staying after training more? It's not that far away. It's really in sight, which I think could excite these guys and really push to maybe, you know, have a good, strong run towards the end of the season for playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. There's a lot of international players out there tonight, and all of our lads have got to just think, look, practice makes permanent. I'm going to get out. I'm going to listen to Preki. You know, the information Preki feeds them. He's played at this level. He knows what it's all about. He's played at the highest level, and it's all very well saying this to the boys, but it's true. Look at them. 45 minutes, they're only one down. So let's hope they can maintain that situation.
And we're talking with Graham Smith. He's the technical director for the Republic. Now, for those who are maybe new to soccer, you're tuning in for us for the first time this season and learning about the game. What does West Brom mean to the EPL, to really the United Kingdom itself? And it really, I mean, these teams, it's more than just, oh, I'm a fan of this team. And this is, I mean, this is almost part of your livelihood, right?
Well, yes. Well, first of all, West Brom is an extremely famous team, the famous Baggies, and 50, 60 years ago, they were probably in the top 3 in the United Kingdom. They've had their ups and downs, but they're now back in the Premier League. They've had a tough time last season where they nearly went down, but that was the same for 11 teams, if you remember, in the Premier League, and they were one of 11 that could have gone down. That's how tough it is at the top. There seems to be 2 divisions now in the Premier League, those who have and those who have not. And what you must remember, yesterday West Bromwich Albion spent £17 million on one player. $26 million on one player. Not bad. He can come and buy the half of Sacramento for that, the town that is, you know. So it puts everything in perspective. I'm delighted, you know. Our lads are earning in a year what some of those lads are earning in 5 days.
Wow.
let's get it right, you know.
And they're playing pretty well. We know so much about salaries because of Major League Baseball, and obviously we have NFL and clearly NBA right in our backyard, Sacramento Kings. But clearly, soccer and football, as they say across the pond there, that really is the king of all sports.
It is. It's a way of life. It's part of the culture in the UK. And I'll tell you one thing very, very quickly. Yeah. Here, I'm noticing the fans here are starting to understand the game. There is no doubt about it. You guys are doing a great job in educating them, but also they know when there's decent moves. That one of those 50-yard crossfield passes from Roro, magnificent pass from deep in his own half to Jack Avasian on the wing. That was a class ball, believe me. And the fans appreciate a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think the fans here are really getting a little more educated and excited for the minor details of the game that sometimes go overlooked, but they really are starting to appreciate those small things.
That's
and
correct. Typically,
we got Roro spraying 3 or 4 of those balls a half, and he's doing it again tonight. So
yeah, and I hope we see Gilberto doing it. The other night, he sent so many people the wrong way with a couple of his dummies that I ended up in the car park twice, you know. So
yeah, very
thanks very much.
Well, Graham, thanks so
you.
much for coming by. It's Graham Smith, technical director for the Republic. Once played for West Brom, and always a good chat with them. And Kevin and I, we've spent a few times after the matches, and we get caught up 15, 20 minutes later, and we're still talking with Graham just about what went right, what went wrong. Just a great soccer mind. And I don't know if Sacramento quite understands what they have really in the front office. Yeah, they're learning soccer, but we've got some players and some people up there that are really making some big moves. And this really is a way for them not to just put a USL minor league type team. I mean, they're putting together an MLS type squad. That's the attitude they go into it. They really want the best players.
Yeah, they're definitely doing a lot of things right, from Warren Smith down in the front office to Preki as the manager. You know, what Graham really touched on right there was saying that, when you have a manager and a coach that can tell you something, and he's been there and he's done it, and if he tells you to do something, that this is how you need to get to the next level, if you listen to that and just follow his direction, which is a huge piece of the puzzle, follow that direction, follow that advice, you got to think that if you're doing that right, eventually you're going to make it to the next level, whatever that level is going to be. Eventually, one day, whether it's MLS, EPL, or the U.S. national team, or whatever national team that you're a part of. So, I mean, it's just a huge, huge benefit to what we have here in Sacramento is a top-to-bottom great organization from the coaching staff to the ownership group. So it's just exciting to see, and it's something that we shouldn't take for granted.
Well, we do have a goalie change for Sacramento. Looks like Jake Gleason is done for the night, and it will be Dominic Jakubek, who played just 2 nights ago. Gave up 2 goals against the Rangers. So he is now the goalkeeper for the Republic. The New Zealander, Jake Gleason, is out. And no changes for West Brom. And we are back underway for Sacramento. John Thompson, Lopez, Guzman, Merkovich, Alvarez, Avasian, Vukovic, Daly, Clementa. Meanwhile, for West Brom, it's Myhill, the goalkeeper. And along with Pocagnoli, Olsen, Baird, O'Neill, and then in the midfield, Jakob Dorans with his sole goal of the evening. Malumbo, Gardner, and then Berahino and Echibi in the 2 front strikers. We had 13 shots on goal for Sacramento in the first half, 7 for West Brom. They won the battle there. The corners 3-2, Sacramento in favor. The fouls 7-3 over West Brom. But interesting enough, you look at that stat and you say, well, Sacramento did better. But I think West Brom used those fouls to really stop a possession, or really get the attack going the other way, trying to almost a counter, because they figured they could set back up their defense.
Yeah, and I think even Graham Smith just touched on it a little bit as well, as the style of play for these, the bottom half EPL sides. They sit back a little bit more than you typically would see in normal matches, and I think that's part of their game, is they're more of a counterattack squad as well. But you'll see a big gap between the front 2 and the midfield 4 for West Brom here, and they kind of lull Roro and Mirkovic to come forward, and they might not necessarily see that in a typical league game, but it's something that they need to get used to tonight and find those gaps, find those holes in behind. Hopefully you find something in between the midfield 4 and the back 4 for West Brom.
Okay, so Sacramento is down. Graham Dorans with a free kick on Jake Gleason right in front of the goal box. Big, easy penalty kick for him in that situation. That's really the difference in this match, but so far I think Sacramento's maybe held their own, maybe even played possibly a little bit better than West Brom in some areas. But those front 2 for West Brom, they really had an impact. What's the key for Sacramento here? Now we move into the attack with Tommy Thompson trying to bubble this thing up and keep it, and he does. Avasian from Guzman. Keeps it on the floor, back to Roro. So what's your key here for Sacramento to push forward? They need to obviously get one in the net here to at least push a draw here against West Brom.
You know, the interesting thing that I'm seeing here is West Brom's coming out with the same side that they came out to start the game with. Typically in these preseason matches, you'll see maybe a 45-minute shift or maybe even a 60-minute shift. So we'll see what happens in the next 15 minutes. But I think Alan Irvin, the manager, might not be too happy or thrilled with the way the performance was in the first half. So he's sending these guys out again, making sure that they can maybe put their own stamp on the game, score a few more goals if they can. But you know what? It's interesting to see that they're coming out with the same lineup.
Sacramento maroon, West Brom in white and blue. Coming all the way from the United Kingdom. What fans call the Black Country. This is a team with a big, strong following, so we appreciate the Baggy fans tuning into our broadcast tonight. Kevin Goldthwait, I'm Rob McAllister. And the Republic just in their first season of professional soccer, to give those an idea who have not been Republic fans so far this year, are this team that was born just a little over a year ago and playing their first season, really didn't sign their first player until I think April. I think it's March or April. It was pretty.
Yeah, it was Roro.
It was right there. Rodrigo Lopez, the first team, number 8 for the Republic. And Lopez he has been such a key part, MVP of this team, no doubt about it. Leader in assist. And he's had, I think, 5 goals so far in the season, as well as Lopez has just been able to do it all for this team. Onto the corners, working into the box. Coming out is Jakubek, who makes a nice save. Barrino, look at the shot on goal, gets it right back. Second chance, and they'll concede a corner. Daly push it away, but just checking into the game. And Dominic Jakubek with a sliding tackle.
Yeah, you know, a little deft touch by Anichebe right there. Finding his partner up top. Barrino, fortunately, we have Jakubek coming out strong, makes a good save. Concedes a corner here on the rebound and on the putback here, but we'll see a little short corner here.
Sends it in to Anichebe, and Tommy Thompson showing that speed, great footwork, working the left side, trying to get to a middle of teammate. Alvarez stepping up and taking away is Pocagnoli.
Yeah, he might have heard Anichebe's footsteps tracking him down after Anichebe turned that ball over, busted his butt to make sure he's the one winning the ball back, does a good job. Thompson does a really good job, too, of breaking out quickly. Fortunately, doesn't find a teammate.
West Brom moving it around, keeping it on the floor. Physical play. No whistle blown here. Sacramento might be getting a lesson there just on how physical you can possibly be. In USL Pro, we don't see it as much. West Brom really using just about every part of their body to control. It's not all about the footwork.
Another great ball by Roro there.
Dancing with a little bit of Zavacian. Clementa running the right side. Here's Roro in the middle of the park. Sacramento been centering just a little bit more times tonight than we typically see from them. Here's Guzman fighting along with O'Neal. Back to Myhill.
Good job by Daly, putting that pressure on.
Merkovic battling. Malumbo. Again, West Brom has come out very physical, able to take charge early on in the first half. Winds up, a bender, backpedaling. Is Jakubek. Jakubek sending it out quickly to Vacion, and that's a good outlet.
Yeah, good outlet quickly. Poor ball out by, poor servicing, excuse me.
Vacion now running the right side in the middle. Daly pokes it away. Back comes Gardner. Gardner inside the box. Daly again. Big right foot. Seeing flying around is Adam John here. It'd be interesting to see what kind of substitutions they make. Sacramento will play West Brom again on Friday night.
So here's that gap again.
Winds up again. Daly one more time. Pushing fast. Sacramento is dealing with not only the physicality of West Brom, but they've sped up a little bit. Seems like they're starting to find a rhythm.
Right. They're coming out strong. I think the manager, Alan Irving, came out and maybe gave him an earful.
Markovic has been in the middle there. Tommy Thompson. Indiana, just 1 year, went to play with his brother, just 18 years of age, leaves school to sign with the San Jose Earthquakes. And now here on loan with Sacramento, the Earthquakes of the Major League Soccer, just down the road in San Jose, which is about a 2-hour drive here to the Bay Area. Bay Area's only professional soccer team to that size, just south of San Francisco. Earthquakes have been such a high-octane scoring team a year ago. Has really struggled. Now they've got two of their younger players, John and Thompson, in as strikers tonight. Sacramento continuing to fight for it, just can't come up with the results. Pushing on the break is Barrino. Barrino not with the advantage, right into the heels of Vukovic.
Vukovic needs to...
And I think that was a bad call. John did not take off until that thing was nearly halfway across the midline.
Yeah, I don't think he was getting on the end of it anyways.
Nice take by Alvarez. Sacramento trying to find a little bit of rhythm with this first 11.
Good ball.
This one right into the foot of Avacion in stride. Avacion winds up. O'Neal again. Plays it so strong on that right back position. Here's Clementa now. Clementa has shown a lot of power. Haven't much seen it tonight though. Sacramento took a couple of chances. Alvarez early on with 2 big shots. Now we work this around. So Sacramento hosting the Rangers a couple of nights ago, and for their chaplain, he was a little bit torn because who did he root for? Well, he couldn't root against either one. Robert Briggs, born 2 miles from Ibrox Stadium in Scotland, rooting for both on Saturday, and he even coached a couple of girls teams here in Land Park. But that said, it was a fun evening for him to watch a team that he grew up watching. And that's a chance you get with these friendlies, Kevin, is you get to watch some of these teams. A lot of people move, and you don't get to see them. You get to wake up really early if you're going to watch maybe some of a Rangers game or a West Brom game, and or you record it, I guess, at these point in time. But growing up, 30, 40 years ago, we didn't have DVR and stuff.
No,
So
right.
you didn't have that chance, but now it's a great treat for a lot of these fans to see him right in person.
Really expands their brand too. You know, it reaches a part of the country, a part of the world that they don't necessarily reach on a traditional basis. So it's a good chance, good opportunity.
Dorans again. Dorans winds up, hits the back of Daly. And you're right, there's always that sense where maybe the first soccer match is the team that you kind of fall in love with. Coming out is Jakubek, who will watch it sail out of play. And it's that first time, I remember the first time I went to a hockey game was a Sharks game. I'll become a San Jose Sharks game in the NHL, and I'm a fan I've become ever since. And I'm sure for you, some of the first matches you were watching the EPL was what, Man U?
Yeah, Man U, when I was growing up as a 13, 14, 15-year-old in the late 90s, that was pretty much the only squad that we would ever really get a chance to see. And in those years, they had a really good team. Peter Schmeichel, Ryan Giggs was still there. Nicky Butt, Beckham was there. So it was definitely a fun squad to watch play. Cantona, when they won the treble.
Well,
Just some good memories.
And you send to pass it down. Great ball.
Yeah, another good ball by Alvarez.
Here's Roro. Rolo dumping it off to Thompson. Thompson trying to turn the corner, get it inside Alvarez. Mirkovic with a nice ball.
Good ball out.
Here's Guzman from the edge, working inside the box, shuffles right, sends it high, looking for a header for Alvarez. Out comes Roro. Good defensive stop by the West Brom Baggies.
Good work forward. Like to see Roro maybe take a strike on target there. Tommy Thompson tries to bring it a little deep to go into his right foot. Too heavy of a touch, but once again, positive movement going forward. Maybe another one more crisp pass, and I think they might be in. Good ball again by Roro, spraying out to Clementa.
Tower Bridge Battalion supporter group for Sacramento, the first such supporter group. Here's Clementa working inside.
And look at West Brom. They're 8 solid in the back. They have all 4 midfielders back, facing forward, back to goal.
Here's a little give and go. Alvarez. Alvarez slowed up as soon as he saw Olsen, 6'4", 185 pounds coming his way. And there's that size and that power that really can deter you from being a little aggressive.
And, you know, once again, going back to their back 8, essentially, I think that's a style of play that you see in those Premiership teams in the bottom half of the table, that they defend, and they do it very, very well. And it's you know, it's your fundamentals in soccer is where you need to get back, get your shoulders right, get him facing the opposition. That way you can see everything in front of you and you know you're in the right position. So it's fun to watch them, how organized the Baggies are right now. And it'll be interesting to see if we can break them down. Once you get that many bodies back there, it becomes difficult to find seams, find angles, and they just become really, really tough to play against. So it'll be interesting to see if we can find some seams and gaps here in the next 30 minutes.
Well, the team leader in goal is Tommy Stewart, in for the first time. He will replace, in a sense, Tommy Thompson, and Gilberto will go in for Octavio Guzman. And so Gilberto, who has shown quite a bit of skill with his feet, coming in. And here is Tommy Stewart. And Tommy Stewart and Olsen shaking hands as soon as Olsen went out. Or excuse me, Stewart came out on the field, but West Brom now pushing on the counter. Trying to change it up a little bit, speed now, as they've added maybe the quickness of Stewart and the strength of Guzman. They've given it up a little bit here, trying to maybe make something happen, work something out of that midfield. Gilberto is so good at getting it and really just pushing it down the field. Here's Tommy Stewart. Now Gilberto, the first 2 just checked in for the Republic.
Yeah, Gilberto's great on the ball. We've talked about it before. He's got to be able to stay active and stay visible for the next 30 minutes of the game. It's really not too much to ask, but he's got to stay active, stay involved, don't tune out, don't check out. Love to see him play a solid 30 minutes here, because he's such a good talent.
Header by Clementa. Slows the attack from West Brom. Thrown by Dorans. Chasing Perino.
Yeah, Perino. Smartly done. Plays the ball back, keeps it, doesn't force it.
And getting behind the ball, Jakubek comes up, but getting beat was Vukovic, and we've had issues with that earlier. That would set up the penalty kick and a score for West Brom. And that time it was Anichebe who was able to skirt by through. And you've seen Daly. I don't know if I've seen Daly try to run or work as hard if I've seen him any match except for tonight. This has been quite a challenge for those 2 center backs.
Yeah, it's a big test. And, you know, when you're dealing with a player like Anichebe with his size and strength, you don't try to beat him with your size and strength. You don't try to match that, because you're going to lose that 10 times out of 10. You got to be smart. You got to be clever. You got to find little ways to maybe poke balls away, make it difficult, make it tiring for him. But you definitely don't want to match his strength and try to beat him that way, because you're going to lose every single time. And I think we saw that when we conceded the penalty when Vukovic did. Looks like he might have tried to outmuscle him a little bit, ends up pulling him down. And Anichebe knows when he's in the box, he's going to get touched. He's going to go down. So smart play by Anichebe, but we need to be better and more thoughtful when dealing with a player like Anichebe.
Tommy Stewart trying to turn that corner. Defensively played. Nicely followed by Sebastian Pocagnoli.
Yeah, nice play by Pocagnoli. Just calm and cool on the ball.
Pocagnoli playing for the 2008 Belgium team, just 26 years old, Belgian national. Gilberto, the Brazilian. To Mirkovic.
Good ball by Vukovic there. Clementa, don't let that bounce.
Back to Gilberto, played in Sao Paulo in the top tier. The Serbian. Working in to Vasian. Clementa. Sends it high, the cross headed away. Republic right back in there, and they're sucking it in for West Brom. They have 7, 8 guys each and every time. Sacramento looking for a cross or a shot on goal. Vukovic keeping it on the floor, looking for John, can't find him.
Vukovic forcing that, don't need to force it.
Now Sacramento trying to get a good possession back out of this one. Gilberto, nice move again. He's got Adam John in the middle. Working it up for Clementa. Clementa working that side and on to John, and he is not able to get a turn on it, a shot on goal, and it's pushed the other way. Here comes a counter from West Brom.
John does not need to take that big of a swing there. Just get your foot on the ball, try to direct it onto target, hopefully get lucky, find a corner maybe. That situation, you don't want to take that big swing and try to hammer the ball there.
13 shots on goal. It'll flip to the top, chip over the defense by Gardner, taken back by Republic. 13 shots on goal in the first half. It is sizably gone the other direction. West Brom pushing hard, but Sacramento getting on a little bit of a nice run themselves here. And everyone just stopped. I don't know why Alvarez stopped. And Merkovich is probably going to try to pick up a foul here.
Foul.
No one calling it.
Good foul.
And they're going to let it continue to play. No one's going to play.
It blows whistle.
And Matthew Buckman, 12 times in a row, both teams just thought they're going to call the foul. Here's a nice play by Roro. Roro just tried to send it toward the net as he was shooting. He was hit in the shin.
Yeah, Roro got hammered there, and I think that might have been somewhat of a makeup call because there was an absolute foul on Merkovich down here on Berino.
And then over here on the side, Alvarez gave up on it, thinking Clementa was off the touchline.
Alan Irvine right there, he's screaming. Fourth officials over there trying to calm him down, and he's just shaking his head. Now Roro gets hammered there. Looks like we were given a corner. Oh, we got a free kick. They called a foul here. Oh no, I think he's calling a corner kick. I don't think anyone knows what's going on but him right now.
So he is in control here, and Alvarez and Roro put it down on the top here, looking for a free kick. And as the monorail skirts past them, Alvarez lazily throws it to the corner because he knows this would have been a better chance for Sacramento. But clear enough, we've seen Rodrigo Lopez put some really good balls from that corner. And why not Rodrigo now? It'd be a great time for Sacramento to get right back into this one. Hand up, hand down, running start. This one's high, looking for Tommy Stewart on the back edge of the box. It'll go over the VIP tent, and no chance there. So when they've scored, Rodrigo Lopez has been a part of quite a few of them.
Got another in-swinger here with Alvarez taking it with his left foot. Alvarez serves a good ball in as well. See if he drives it. Good ball.
Movement. Out comes Myhill, takes it away.
Yeah, Myhill does a good job. Comes out big and strong. Simple catch for him. You'd like to see maybe one of the Republic guys kind of get on Myhill and screen him a little bit so he can't come out that freely and snatch the ball.
Speaking of freely, West Brom able to move it up to the other side of the field very easily. Working it back is Dorrance. 66 minute here, a little poke through. Here's Tommy Stewart looking for a chance and just batted away by Myhill. A good left foot by Tommy Stewart turned on him, and Myhill just waited till the last moment to make a move. As a goalkeeper, you can't ask for much more than that.
Right, looks like there's some confusion in the midfield. Here's the strike. Good save by Myhill. That's a really good strike by Stewart in that situation. He knows he's got three guys barreling down on him, puts his laces through the back of the ball, on target, forces Myhill to make a save, and Myhill does a very good job of answering the call there.
Crowd is into it. Alvarez working, sends the cross high, and coming all the way back down is Tommy Stewart. Stewart again. Back the other direction. Wow. And can Alvarez track this down? Keeps it on the end line. Work his way into the box. Here's a cross, slapped away by Olsen. Hard to get over that 6'4" frame, but a little bit errant ball by Alvarez just a few moments ago. Sacramento lucky to have it back and have another chance at a corner, their third within a minute.
Yeah, it looks like Alvarez tried to kind of loft that ball in the box. We want to see him drive it.
Here's a one-driven ball kept low. Hits off the heel of what appears to be Vukovic. Again, Sacramento.
Quick corner here,
Gilberto. Bending it inside, keeps it low, and nobody there. And Rodrigo Lopez has a few things to say
to the Brazilian Gilberto. Quick toss it again. Clemente now. Sacramento's having multiple chances. Great move by Clemente. Into the box, taken down. There's the whistle.
Clemente showing some skills on Pocagnoli there. Does a little step over, a little cheeky step over, puts it through Pocagnoli's leg. Only thing he can do is foul him in that situation. So I don't think he was really ready for it. Pocagnoli wasn't. Good work, good movement forward by Clemente. And here we go. Got a nice opportunity once again. Set piece outside the box. Let's see if Roro and Alvarez can sort out who's taking this and put a good ball in the box. And want to see John get on the end of one of these things here.
Daly's walking up as well. Crowd starting to stomp their feet. They're ready for some action. Here's a bender. Into the box, cross cleared by West Brom. Roro going to try to track it down before it is out of play. Mirkovic.
You know,
and now they're going to get it all the way back to Dominic Jakobek.
That's a tougher ball than you'd think. With it being so close, you can't drive it in. You got to take something off of it.
Gilberto showing his wheels. Tap from John to Clemente. Clemente showing some footwork. Sacramento getting a little fancy here.
Yeah, Gilberto, a little no look there. I think they're feeling good right now, Rob.
And they're moving it very well. Adam John now into the middle. He's trying to center it, looking for Tommy Stewart was running that right side. Clemente comes up, makes a gamble, and it works out well. Gilberto still running. Gilberto has really owned the middle since checking in here a few moments ago. Alvarez being pushed around in the corner, trying to break free. Skirts through two defenders, taken away. Finally by West Brom, but it looked like it was Pocagnoli who was able to finally make a play on Alvarez. And now we're going to have a substitution. Is maybe just a little bit gassed out is Adam John. So Martinez will check in. Carlos Martinez from San Pedro, California. Playing the second-tier team in Germany, replacing the local kid, Adam John. So we'll see if there's any switching, or will Martinez come in as a forward? We haven't seen that.
So yeah, we've seen no changes by West Brom as well. You know, we're past that 60-minute mark, which is typically the time when you'll start seeing some substitutions come in for the preseason matches. And here they are in the 70th minute right now, keeping that same squad in there.
Sacramento with a great possession the last about 5+ minutes. 3 good corner kick opportunities. Did not convert, though. That's where the Sacramento needs to start picking things up. As West Brom works its way in. So Carlos Martinez is in, who scored the goal. 20 yards out from top of the box.
Yeah, good to see. It's going to be interesting and fun to see Martinez playing up top in that more attacking role that we really haven't seen him too much playing up there. So let's see how he does tonight.
We got that goal against the Rangers, and so he's going to try to make it 2 for 2.
Roro's fun to watch. He can spray the ball so well. Finds those balls that you just wish players are going to find.
And a little tap. Nearly finds its way into the net. Martinez into Stewart, and Mahill just misplayed it about a foot to the right of the goalkeeper, and that maybe finding its way into the net.
Yeah, it looks like he caught just between two minds there. Didn't know if he wanted to maybe take it with his feet. One-handed, two-handed.
And here is Alvarez. And finger up, finger down. Perfectly placed ball, but nobody there.
Rob, they need to get someone on Mahill. Screen him a little bit. He's just coming out unmarked. No one's really crashing the goal, making decent runs.
And there's the ball. So just tapped away by Baird. And Mahill just loses concentration.
I mean, a 1 foot over, that's a own goal right there. So, I mean, fortunate for West Brom there to only concede a corner kick and come away all right.
And here we go, Sacramento moving. Alvarez, a big shove. And that will be called. So Sacramento now started. So, hey, you know what? Maybe we do need to play a little more physical. And taking the chest was Pocagnoli. And now he's going to take a few hobbles to get back up.
See Alvarez coming in strong here, shoulder to shoulder, technically, but, you know, definitely a foul. Caught Polkagnoli a little bit off balance there.
Clementa just off the chest. West Brom now's a chance. I don't know why I didn't let it play out of there as Anichebe kept it alive and gave it right back to her. Sacramento. Alongside Kevin Goldthwait and Rob McAllister tonight, and we appreciate you tuning in here as Sacramento taking on West Brom. First time they've played an EPL team. This is the third friendly. 0 for 2, trying to
Good
break
step in
that
there.
streak.
Good step in there with two guys kind of closing on Malumbu, making it difficult for him.
Here's Gilberto. Gilberto played very well ever since stepping in here. He's 2 straight games now. He has really made a mark. I know Graham Smith really likes his game. Played some pretty good soccer out at Brazil last couple of seasons.
Yeah, he's
Pretty
a
good
guy
kid for
with
Republic.
he's a guy with unbelievable skill and talent. He just got to link up better a little bit with his guys, with the other Republic players, because I mean, Gilberto on the ball, second to none right now, and you can see the skill and see the talent. He just has to stay visible for an entire game, work up and down, defensively, offensively. Tell you, Clementa's feeling good tonight.
He has made some really nice moves into the middle. Nice step up
He's had a
from
couple
Malumbo.
step over with the Meg, a couple back hills right now.
Well, make sure you, all the updates, Nike Soccer, follow them on Twitter at Nike Soccer. And all the updates, of course, at USL Pro as well on Facebook, on Twitter. These matches, each and every USL Pro match is streamed online. Every Sacramento Republic match is online. Here's a break by West Brom. Avasian comes over with a nice play to step right in front. Could have been a big-time shot on goal by Gardner.
Yeah, Avasian showing his pace right there, getting back, does a good job defensively for a guy who's been getting up and down, doing a lot of offensive work as well. And seeing him track back like that's great to see. I'm sure Precky's kind of taking those. Here he goes again, sprinting forward on the overlap. Spreading the field, that's perfect by Avasian. Let's see if he gets a good service in here.
Here he is working inside the box, stays up on his feet after going down. Gonna let this maybe play out in a second. Here's a shot and into the arms of Myhill. I think maybe Roro was waiting for that whistle to be blown right outside the box there. Did not happen. Took a chance at it, did not score, and it continues to be a 1-0 game here. West Brom on top after a penalty kick score by Graham Dorrance. And 7,400 fans out here tonight. Just the second time only this season the Republic have not sold out the match. But now here's Stewart working quickly as we approach the 76th minute here in Sacramento.
Getting a little chippy right now. Looks like West Brom's asking for some calls, not necessarily getting them.
It always seems to be that way when players start getting a little more tired too. When you don't want to work as hard. It's those little bumps can be a little bit more frustrating.
You're hoping the ref might bail you out now and again, and when he doesn't, you're definitely going to take a little offense to it. We're all guilty of it.
You never did that though.
Oh, never.
Never during your playing days.
Fairest player in the land.
Never a complaint. Kevin Goldthwait always playing hard, no matter who he played for. Timbers, the Red Bulls, the Dynamo, the Earthquakes. Anybody else I missed? Houston, Toronto?
Toronto. There we go.
Sacramento, though, pushing very well. They've been able to get into that attacking third with pretty much ease this second. Part of the second half, we should say at least, but they've not been able to capitalize.
They're doing a good job of breaking down that back eight, essentially, what West Brom is really playing with. Finding those gaps. Avasian's doing a great job of overlapping on that left side, spreading the field.
And Sacramento just forced to
There's
foul
Mirkovic.
here, and Clementa was going to do it first, and given a yellow card is Mirkovic, but he pretty much had to, as Clementa was not called, and he wasn't going to allow a path. And now we may have our first West Brom substitution tonight. And going to Priest, Anichebe is going to be taken out. And coming in will be Kanar Roof. So Kanar Roof started with West Brom in 2011 on loan. 3 different teams, however, 21 years old. English, national, coming in for the first time a substitution. And Anichebe with a high five and walks off. So we'll see how typically this midfielder plays at that forward position unless they make a change up front. But as you know, as you said, Kevin, they've been playing almost a back 8 this whole time.
Yeah, I think once that happens, it becomes real difficult to break teams down. Here's a nice little set piece opportunity.
And right into the back, you could hear that one all the way up here. And those are the ones that sting a little bit, and Gilberto rubbing his left leg.
Yeah, Gardner goes for a driven ball rather than the curled ball over the top of that wall. Like
Well,
we
here's
talked about
Roof
earlier.
with a cross up over the top. And Albion almost made a spectacular play. West Brom with a good chance there. Roof just checking in, already making his mark on it. It
Yeah,
looked like it was
like
Barino.
Barino does his best there with a difficult ball. Just throws his foot out behind him tries for the overhead kick. Doesn't get it on target, but does a good job making something out of nothing there, trying to get the ball on target.
And so a couple more substitutions now as we into the 79th minute here in Sacramento. A beautiful night. Began this at 84 degrees, sticking around the high 70s. And I don't think weather-wise you could ask for much better here. And the later part of July, where typically we've seen earlier parts of the season, Kevin, it was more than 100 degrees. And we sat in the tent 105 one time for a kickoff. Those were not very fun games.
No, we were sweating down there, Rob.
And I didn't run a single moment that night.
Yeah.
These guys playing 90-plus minutes, and that's a thing where these substitutions, I'm sure when these teams come over here, Tommy Stewart's got a break, sizes it up, back on Myhill, and another chance, just poked it high. Myhill with a great recovery.
Yeah, Tommy Stewart needs to do better, needs to find the back of the net, puts it on target, finds, I think, makes the right decision. Myhill makes a great save, and Tommy's got another opportunity at it and just kind of misses his kick off the outside of his right foot.
And I think it may have just been tapped. And so I don't know if that was Olsen back there, but he may have got it. No, it was not Olsen, excuse me, but Pocagnoli, I believe it was, who was right there. Gilberto.
Yeah, you know, Stewart always finds himself in the right position. Good turn right there by Stewart. Finds himself in the right position. Just needs to kind of find that killer instinct and put it in the back of the net.
It almost looked like he was trying to charge it quickly into the net because he saw a couple of white jerseys coming his way. He wanted to make sure he could get a clean shot on goal. Did not happen.
Yeah, the Baggies looked like they were kind of hoping for an offsides there.
Sacramento almost got burned with it earlier on. Here's Daly. And for these friendlies for West Brom, I mean, it's not just, oh, it's a fun trip to California for them. I mean, they definitely are trying to get ready. They're trying to figure each other out.
No, this is preseason for them. They're doing 2-a-days. This is all work. I think they might have tomorrow off, but I mean, when you're here, this is not a holiday. This is their preseason. This is where all the hard work's really put in. You know, their foundation, their fitness foundation for the rest of the season. So it's tough work they're putting in out here.
And Donovan Daniels will be checking in as soon as there's a stop here, and it looks like here it is.
Yeah.
And so
Daniels, one of the Academy products here, one of the Baggies Academy products checking in, coming in for Olsen.
And it's funny, we're talking with some of the West Brom guys earlier, and I said, oh, so Donovan. He says, oh no, he doesn't say the R, it's just Donovan. It's like, huh. So I guess sometimes you just concede your names. If it's said wrong enough, maybe you possibly just go with something.
Yeah, with the last name like Goldthwait, believe me, I've heard them all.
And so now Dakota Collins in as Merkovich comes out.
Looks like they're really going to put Roro in that middle role right now. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to have a sitting midfielder with Gilberto, who typically doesn't have, you know, he's got a pretty long leash in there. So does Roro, so it'll be interesting to see how we can kind of hold down that middle of the park.
So Collins, who went to Cal Poly, is in, and now Daniels as well for West Brom. And now Daniels been on loan for a couple of different clubs, and English national. 6'1", 200 pounds. He's got some size as well. I mean, they keep coming with those bruisers, Kevin.
Yeah, some big bodies over there.
And Gilberto goes down hard. And they have a red card. Gilberto is still on the ground, and he appears to be, I don't know, holding his shoulder or his face. And I don't know, did not see exactly where he was hit there in that middle pile. And maybe we could possibly get a replay here for you. And he is a bit slow to get up, and Lopez now having a conversation and wants to make sure everyone's kind of on the same page. But now West Brom down a man with about 8+ minutes left to play here, Kevin. This may be possibly the break Sacramento needed. They played down a man against the Rangers, held off Glasgow boys, but they were able to score one in the final moments, being down a man with the Rangers. And Sacramento now trying to do the same here and see if it's a different mindset for West Brom. They've already been sucking it back in for most of the second half here.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to go with one up top, with Berino playing solely up top by himself. You know, Gardner with a tough, hard challenge. Unfortunate for him to be sent off with that second yellow.
And that's what I say. I was surprised by the red card, but it was a second yellow.
One of those
by
things.
Gardner.
One of those things too, where you get that, pick up that early yellow card. You got to be careful for the rest of the match, because any call that might be, you know, on the fringe of a tough tackle, you know, you could be sitting on the bench the rest of the game, sent off. And in this case, walk into the locker room, which is a very long, sad walk.
It can be very sad. And so it's Gardner who was there with his second yellow. Craig hit his first one in the 42nd minute, and then this one coming around the 81st.
Yeah, 6 minutes to go here. See what we can do. Shouldn't really change the Baggies' mindset too much. They need to defend for the next 6 to 7 to 8 minutes, depending on stoppage time. But really shouldn't change their mentality. Really just gonna have one guy up top chasing.
Daniels nearly loses it, coming flying through his Collins.
Yeah, Collins showing his athleticism again there.
West Brom need to spread things out just a little bit more here, Kevin.
See, Malombo's telling him, settle down, let's keep the ball. That's the smart thing to do there, which is what we want to see the Republic guys start to learn maybe, is in these situations, you don't need to keep screaming forward. Slow the ball down, keep it, no damage, nothing's gonna harm you here when you're keeping the ball. And see how well they can do it now. This is where I think you start seeing a little class. See, that's a forced ball right there, unnecessary. And you see guys kind of yelling at.
Looks like it'll be Pocagnoli.
Yelling at Jakob, telling him, hey, settle down. No need for that right now. But this is where the next, like I said, 7 minutes or so, how well can West Brom keep the ball when they have it? And how well can we get forward and keep pressing and make it difficult for them when they do have the ball?
Alvarez skirting around the box, scooping it in, little give and go. Tommy Stewart working. There's Roro. Alvarez misplaced it.
Yeah, Alvarez, he's on his left foot there. He's taking shots from every other part of the field except the top of the box right there. Pull the trigger, buddy.
Gilberto eats. The Republic playing almost a tap and go here. And almost the wrong direction, though, Kevin. You want to keep pushing that forward.
They got 5 in the back line right now. They are playing deep.
Sacramento on a
nice
very beautiful night here, working, trying to tie this thing up, down by 1.
Look at how congested it is. I say this with all due respect to West Brom, but this is a position that they're in.
Here's a ball in the middle across Evasian, the shortest player on the team. Tapped in, Collins trying to find Gilberto on the run. Here's Vukovic, he's gonna set one up. And strike from about 40, 50 yards possibly.
I don't know about that one, Vukovic. Yeah, we might be pulling up here a replay of that, the second yellow. But all due respect to West Brom, this is a situation they find themselves in often with playing against some of those top tier teams, is when you're up 1-0 and you're away from home and you want to hold on to those 3 points, you got to sit back. You really do. Hopefully, here's the tackle. Yeah, I mean, a hard tackle. I don't think there's any malice or ill will or poor intent in there. It's just a hard tackle. A little bit late. Gilberto might be a little bit quicker than anticipated.
And Gilberto, I think, was holding his face. We weren't sure if he got hit in the face, but it looked like when he landed, he hit pretty hard. Here's Jakubek from Lodi, California, 34 years of age. Came in for Gleason at the break. Sacramento with just a few minutes left. Here's Clementa.
Good ball there.
Clementa pushing, looking to left. Shot with his right foot. Playing it well was Pocagnoli. Nice throw-in. Little tap from Alvarez. A little too late. A pop fly out of play.
Almost decapitated one of the fans down here.
And
He
the
had no idea what was going on.
The sad thing is no one was even really giving him a heads up. They just watched it happen. Want to see the carnage.
I might have been doing the same thing though, Rob.
Don't tell him, don't tell him. Okay. Got to keep your eye. I mean, some other sports, you keep your eye, like baseball. Everyone knows. Soccer, you don't typically think that the ball's going to be coming your way.
Right.
Trying to skirt it into Collins. Trying to wind up with Stewart. Playing it on the backside was Jakob. Here's Vukovic. He has been aggressive here in the last few moments.
We're doing
a little
a good,
flip over. Martinez.
Doing a good job of keeping it in that final third. You know, in these situations, West Brom, all they're really doing is looking to clear their lines, get the ball in maybe the attacking third on their end. Cross the field here, see the field starts to spread out a little bit. But now, how well they can West Brom keep the ball here? And how well can we chase and be hard to play against? Time is definitely an enemy for Republic right now. Need to put pressure. Need to put pressure on the ball.
You've seen West Brom really keeping it on the edges, keeping it to their back center backs. Myhill's going to wind up. And not a very good ball at all.
Perfectly fine. Good work by Republic there, making it difficult. Putting the goalie under a little bit of pressure.
And the winds can have a little factor. It's really typically blows just from the south into the field, but it's really starting to blow from the east to the west.
You know, this last 20 minutes, Republic's played very well here.
They just need to break through. They have not had that good shot on goal.
This is where they need to be patient. Evasian right there, once again, kind of forces it down the middle of the park where it's most crowded, most busy, most congested.
Well,
Take your time, be patient with the ball.
And there's Roof, who maybe a little too aggressive, just comes a substitution. And how hard is that for a guy to come in? You're trying to prove yourself, you're trying to crack that top 11, and you come in, you're sagging back as you're down a man. That's almost a contradiction in your mind.
Right, you gotta make sure that you're gonna go out there, just be productive, whatever the game situation is thrown at you. Make sure you know the scene, you know the setting, you know what your responsibility is, and do it well.
A couple of great shots tonight of the fairgrounds right behind Bonney Field here. So they're going to add about 2 minutes here. Sacramento is slowly winding down. What are you looking for here? It's about the last 2.5 minutes here, Kevin.
You still need to be patient with it. You don't want to force the ball. But we are definitely coming across that limit of time where you got to start thinking about that we need to start just lumping the ball forward. But right now, there still is a little bit of time, and there's probably going to be one more chance that Republic's going to be able to get out of this thing. And West Brom might be even looking for a counterattack here as well, where they might be given a chance. But they got to keep it. This is just makes it now they're chasing. This is, you know, good fitness for them, but I don't think you want to be doing this at this point in the game.
Alvarez was the intended target. O'Neal stayed up on his feet. Offside call.
That's close. That's not by much. That was a good step by Vukovic, and good job by Daly for kind of recognizing where that line's being set. Takes one step up to the right, keeps him, pushes him offsides.
Clementa keeping it on the ground, just not there yet.
I need a better ball there. It has to be a good service.
Here's
Give your
Daly.
guys a chance.
Daly's pushing. Gilberto has it taken away, slapped by Berrino, who did a nice job.
And you notice, too, in these situations, the baggies, the players, they're not getting their, you know, when they get the ball, they look very calm. They're not panicking. And I think that's one of the differences you see here tonight, too. And it's something that it's one of those skills that really separates the good from the great.
They seem to be moving with a purpose, too. I mean, you typically don't see them working in one direction or another. I mean, they really are moving to get that ball forward.
It's a well-oiled machine, what they have working. They know where they're supposed to be at almost all times.
About a
here
minute
they are back defending. Look at the line of defense that they got going on there. That's a solid 8 with no gaps.
I guess, and they've allowed that over the top to Clementa tonight. They really have not defended that as well. They've really packed it in.
Yeah, that's the one pass they typically are going to give you in that situation. They'll challenge you, play that ball. It's a tough ball to strike.
Here's Roro looking over the top. Alvarez header trying to find a streaking teammate was Collins.
Good idea there. Hopefully that's not the only chance we're going to get here. We got 30 seconds to go.
Here's Lopez. He's going to set it up. He's trying to work it around. He's looking for a little bit of space. Clementa out of play, and West Brom just continues to try to eat up the clock here in the final 20 seconds or so. Toss in.
Serve that ball, Roro.
And Lopez gives it away. That may be the last chance for Sacramento. Daly's going to try to make one more move on it, but this whistle's likely to blow with West Brom in position.
Yeah, referee's looking at his watch. Here it is.
And that's going to do it. So it comes to an end. 92 minutes of play. West Brom scores in the first to go ahead and take this one. And it was on a penalty kick into the net. Graham Doran stepped up in the 13th minute. And Sacramento falls to 0-3 in friendlies on the season. And so far, it looked like Sacramento was working its way through, had a couple of nice chances, especially there in the second half, really put the pressure on West Brom. Could not make it happen, couldn't get that one clean shot at the net. Give a lot of credit to Boaz Myhill tonight.
Yeah, you know, we did have our opportunities. I think Stewart, when you're looking back on this game, Stewart's going to be thinking he should have had maybe 2 chances that he should have taken a little bit better. But you know what? I think we talked about it at halftime with this is a good little confidence booster for the guys to know that they can go and play against a really good squad, that a Premiership side that has pretty much their full team in the lineup for most of the game. And to play as well as they did, concede 1 goal on a penalty kick early in the game, and for the remainder of the match, really played, had some good chances. And in my head, in my eyes, there's really, you know, an unfortunate result here. Should have gotten at least a point out of it, a draw, and maybe even could have stole one with the win. So, I mean, a good lesson for the guys. And I think that's something that they're going to build on, and we'll see what happens next Friday as we have a rematch going on here.
And don't forget, there are still tickets available, sacrepublic.com, Ticketmaster as well. West Brom right back here, July 25th. That's Friday at 7:30 at Bonney Field here. And then on Sunday, the 27th, at earlier match there, Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And so they will be here. And that's a USL Pro match. That's going to be very important. Come out, support the Republic. I know a lot of people, Kevin, they keep saying to me, well, there's no tickets available. Just almost give up. You know what? There are tickets available. A lot of season tickets have been sold, but we saw tonight there's about 600 seats still available this evening. So a great time. You can get into the fair. It's free as well. Bring the family, and, you know, it's really a great chance to have the kids come out, maybe ride a few rides. I think you can even take them out during halftime. I mean, that's how great of a setup it is right now. As we look around, and
now
let's go down to Jeremy Field with our player of the game.
Jeremy, take it away.
I'm here with Tommy Thompson from the Sacramento Republic. And Tommy, you guys played against an EPL team in West Brom. How do you guys think you did?
I thought we did well. You know, I thought we controlled the game for a good portion of it, and it's a dream come true playing against these guys that I grew up watching.
That's for sure. So, Tommy, playing the EPL team again on Friday. There's going to be some different matchups. How do you guys think you're going to do?
Yeah, you know, we're just going to keep fighting. I'm excited for that as well, and I'm hoping to get the result on Friday.
And now on Friday we have Sacramento Soccer Day. So this is the second annual. So what do you think how this community will embrace Sacramento Soccer Day?
I think they'd love to be a part of it. I grew up in Sacramento, and there's a lot of love for soccer out here. So I'm excited to see what Friday will bring.
Well, thank you very much, Tommy Thompson. Good Sac rep. Good job, buddy. Thank you very much.
So there's Jeremy Field there as we continue on here from the top of the broadcast booth. Kevin Goldthwait, Rob McAllister with you, and a great night so far this evening. And it just did not work out for the Republic. They fall 1-0 against West Brom, but a chance to come back on Friday. What do they do differently? I thought overall they played pretty well. I mean, it comes out of that penalty kick. Without the penalty kick, it's a draw here tonight.
Yeah, I think you're going to take away a lot of positives from tonight. And I think the one thing that I really hope that the team and the guys take from this evening is that they can compete with some of the best in the world and in one of the best leagues in the world. Hopefully, you know, put some wind in their sails as they move forward for this final push at the end of the season. Really need a strong playoff push, so to speak, and hopefully this kind of gives them the boost of confidence necessary to go in there and really start fighting when we have these USL Pro games. And then for the game this Friday, I think it'll be see what kind of lineup comes out is brought out, but I think it's going to be another hard-fought match and another opportunity for a lot of players to come out here and cement their roles, their places in the lineup. and hopefully they can come out with some confidence too, knowing that this was only a 1-0 win. That, you know, I think we're a bit unfortunate not to come away with at least a point or maybe even the victory here.
Well, at least 10 more matches to play here for Sacramento in the season, I should say. A couple more, about half of those here at home at Bonney Field. So again, come out, continue to show your support here for Sacramento, and we appreciate everyone tuning in online, all those across the country and all the way, of course, to the United Kingdom as well. We appreciate you tuning in, all the West Brom fans from all over. Back here at 7:30 Friday night, which I believe, if my timing right, it's about 3:30 in the a.m. For those across the pond, as they say. And so if you want to tune in, we appreciate that, doing that live. Also, the games will be replayed right there, available anytime you want to watch on demand at YouTube channel. All the Sacramento Republic matches you can find there. I want to thank our entire broadcast crew. Of course, everyone with the Republic, Graham Smith, the technical director, for talking with us at halftime. For Kevin Goldthwait, I'm Rob McAllister. Have a wonderful night. But at the end of this evening, it's West Brom on a Monday night, and they'll try to see if they can even things up with the Baggies, the Republic. Again, 7:30 Friday. We'll see you then.